Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Let's go.
I love hearing you fake the energy you don't have right now.
Give us up.
That's professionalism.
1 to 10. How did I do?
Professionalism.
That
right
was like
there.
1 to 10. How was it?
That was 9.
I smelled too much desperation, and I'm gonna give it an 8.
Right before that, I was telling the guys, today's gonna suck.
It's a long.
I've got to do 2 hours here, then the 4
Yes.
at Channel 3, the 5,
Yes.
and the 6. Russ Mitchell's out today.
Ah.
So it's like 5 hours on the
And
air.
then he's like, here we go.
Well,
All
you know,
right, I guess
yeah.
we got to do this. And he's like, hey, everybody.
As soon as that's right.
I jumped up at 4 o'clock. I was on the radio doing that.
wow.
4
morning
a.m.?
drive. 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Why?
But you know I got to set my alarm in succession, right?
Yeah.
So like I got a sleeping problem. So I gotta wake myself up in like increments, half
You do
hour.
snooze, snooze, snooze.
So I set 3 alarms.
Your
and-
sleeping problem is that you don't like to wake up? Is that your problem?
Well, no, when I take so many sleeping pills,
I
it's
see.
kind of hard to wake.
And you
I
have to
don't-
take those in order to...
Yes.
Okay.
So I take Ambien.
Okay.
So I don't take that many sleeping pills. But it'd be like I have to wake up a little bit at about half hour. Then I
So
set a new
ease
alarm,
into it.
ease into it, and then by the time it's like 4:45, I can really legitimately be up, so I can be at 5. Because the morning show is 6 to 10.
Yeah.
Oh. So you did the morning show today at the Fan.
Yes.
Wow, that's a grind. I don't know how those guys do that.
I don't either.
I had a hard time sleeping last night as well, and I did what I did my go-to when I just couldn't get to sleep. So my girlfriend's dog recently passed, and that dog had a bunch of Valium left over because it was a real stressed out dog. So whenever I need to like really pass out,
took a doggy
I just
down.
took 2 dog Valium, and I just fell asleep last night, slept like a baby.
I'm not sure doctors recommend that,
No,
do they?
probably not.
Of course, their weight is so much less than ours. Two for them is probably like a half for
That's
you.
how I look at it.
Yeah.
See, we know
He just
we know
said that.
medicine.
Like that's the thing.
Took a bunch of dog medicine.
Like he's taking horse tranquilizers.
It's the
Yeah.
same stuff,
Yeah.
pretty much. It's
you
just,
would like to think.
It's apples to apples. Listen,
Yeah.
I guess. Hey,
You know who doesn't have a problem sleeping or waking up is Bull.
It's true.
Happy Friday to you, Bull.
where's he at?
I've had to listen to you guys whine. We're in sports. We're in media. We got the easiest jobs on the face of the earth. Jay's making $5 million a year.
I am?
G. Bush is promoting every product from here to North Dakota. You guys got good lives. Stop complaining about it for crying out loud.
Hey, it's great. And not all, some of us have to actually come in here, though, Bull, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, come on.
Trust me. I wish I was in there. I'm going stir crazy. It feels like when we were locked in our houses forever.
Oh,
I know. When do we get you back?
I don't
Tuesday,
know.
hopefully. Tuesday,
Hopefully.
Your
I
poor
tested
wife right
this-
now. Can you get a stabilizer on that laptop by now? Can you please? It's so bouncy, dude.
Is it?
Yeah, it just bounces around like you're on an airplane in turbulence
think-
the whole time.
you know what?
Find a static
Well-
surface, my friend.
It has a static surface, but
Okay.
you know me, I bounce around a lot, so I'm probably hitting the table.
That's probably
If
it. Your
somebody-
excitement shakes the room.
If somebody had made me aware of that over the last 4 days, then I would made a point of trying not to hit the table. and now I'll
Here's the
do
problem. Here's the problem we got.
Yeah.
Like white people make suggestions about really
we go.
top dollar things that you
Yeah.
can change. Like, see, white people can say your laptop is bouncy and then go get a whole new one. Like,
Well, I'm saying put 4 books under it.
I have something under it,
right.
Mike.
If mine is bouncy, I'm gonna be like, it's gonna be bouncy. This is a
I just
laptop,
gotta not touch-
a
I
phone.
just gotta not touch
This
the-
is a
the
tablet
Because
too.
we have our special, secret, expensive white people computer balancers that you don't know about.
No, here's what G. Bush thinks we have. A secret white people unlimited money funds account.
There it
Yes.
is.
We don't have that really.
They just go right. They just go right in. and They be like, "Dude, I'm gonna go buy Best Buy. I'll
day.
have it fixed tomorrow."
What? We have a site called White Amazon that you guys don't know about. It's amazing. Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, everybody. Everything's,
guys.
Go ahead.
Top
Hey,
secret.
speaking of Amazon, you know, I hate when you're at home and sometimes these idiots leave the packages right in front of your door.
Don't even
so I can't
ring the
even open the
doorbell.
door to get the package.
Oh yeah, that's
Yep.
bothersome.
I thought you were gonna say that when they leave the package in front of your door and you don't
leave.
want them to. Like, no, don't put that in front of my house. They will come get that. They will steal this.
I
Yeah,
thought
the
you were.
Porch Pirates. What I can understand is in 2022, we're still doing it this way.
Still what? Still.
Like they lose literally hundreds of millions of dollars a year in theft for Porch Pirates. And we're still just leaving valuable items unattended on your front porch.
And think how much
that'll work. There's no problem
So
there.
think how much money Amazon's making that you can just that they're just like, that's fine, we'll just send you another one. Doesn't matter.
I know, and you know what? The other thing too is when you order big, large, tough to ship items.
Yeah.
We've done this, and then we want to send it back for whatever reason. The one thing that comes to mind is this huge area rug, massive, and it was not cheap. We ordered it. My wife looked at it. She goes, "You know what? I don't like it in the space. I'm going to send it back." Amazon's like, "No, we're good. Keep it. We'll send you the one you want."
Yeah, that's it.
What?
Because it's less expensive for them
It
to
is.
not have it shipped back
Yes.
than it is. They're just like, just keep it.
Keep that. Or they did that with a watch one time. It came broke, but they made me send the other one back. And you can turn it in at Target.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
there are retailers that you can drop the item off at.
It's horrifying how connected everything is becoming.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's what's scary is how easy we can order stuff. What I think, we all have mailboxes, right?
Yeah.
Well, those things are archaic. Those are dinosaurs now. Like, let's face it. The U.S. Postal Service isn't long for this world.
No.
It's just not.
In some form.
In some
Right.
form, we will have a mail delivery in some form.
Yes.
But this every day stopping at your house and how much money they lose a year, there's got to be a better way. So I also think that with all the technology we have, instead of all of us having a mailbox, I think we all should have a package drop box that we leave on our porch, and the only people that can open it is us
And Jeff Bezos.
and Jeff Bezos.
When he wants to.
He'll send a link to our phone,
Yeah.
and it'll say, open your package box.
Yes.
We'll hit a button. It'll unlock. They'll put it in. They'll secure it. Done.
Bro.
Let Jeff Bezos pay for that for everybody.
Absolutely.
He will.
Of course he is.
He's
I'd
listening
order one
right
of the,
now.
And we'd have to order the drop boxes from them.
That's okay.
and that's fine. And
If you're a Prime member, because they're
Right.
always trying to boost their Prime membership, you get the Dropbox for free.
that'd be crazy.
Yes.
That's
And
crazy.
that's worth their investment. And
That's
probably in $1 billion.
crazy.
Probably
But
happen.
it's smart.
No,
isn't it?
that's crazy. That's crazy good. You need to have that. Please, somebody, would they get
Also, you know what else I want? As long as we're pie in the sky, because
Yeah.
Sure.
that's never going to happen. But I want Amerizon. You know what that is?
No.
That's Amazon, where you only get stuff from America, so it's way more expensive.
The China
I
thing
agree. You should have the option.
is so crazy.
You should
to
have
me.
the option.
These
I just want to
Right.
still have the
If
option.
you don't want to use
Right.
it, use Amazon and get cheap shit that breaks all the time.
Yes.
Jay Crawford has come into the building.
I think you just-
with two groundbreaking
Yep, there you
joints
go.
that I would sign up for today.
Yeah.
You know what? They hide
And I think-
so well where the companies are located.
Yes.
They have shadow companies,
Yeah.
and it'll say, when you really start digging and you get like 18 consonants with Z's and C's, and you go, well, that's China.
Yep.
But you don't know that when you go to order that. And it's just incredible the stuff that we get from China.
And think about it, I pay $2-3 extra. I would.
Yeah.
If it
I
costs,
mean-
I pay $2 extra for something.
Well, but
if
a
I
lot of
was in-
American companies are now building stuff outside of America because they don't want to pay Americans a reasonable wage. They'd rather pay slave wages to
Well,
people
you know
in
what
other
they're
countries.
doing, Bull. You're right, but the reason they're doing that is because China's doing it. So China is the world's retailer. China's the Walmart of the world.
Yes.
Yeah. But they're building products and selling them cheaper because they're paying their people nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so in America, we want our workers to have a livable wage, but we don't want to buy expensive things. Go to Walmart and look at the lines.
It's a real contrast.
And so at some point, we're going way into the geopolitical
Yeah.
spectrum.
Yeah.
Let's get off
Yes.
that nonsense.
Let's go.
We're not
Let's
gonna
move it.
fix
Keep it
anything.
moving.
Bull, start with you.
We're not going to fix anything.
No, we have wasted 8 minutes talking about nonsense.
that's all right.
DeQuell Jackson may or may not be on the show. He's got something going on. We're hoping he joins us. I'm excited for this. Mike Polk's it's a kind of game show-ish.
It has to do with our viewers and our followers who love the emojis that we have of ourselves.
the new memberships
we
we're
just
offering.
we asked our members and just our viewers in general to say what our emojis are expressing for
You're
each
right,
of us.
right,
See,
yeah.
so we're going to talk about that later. They gave us some great responses.
Okay.
We're going to go over those.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Whenever Mike takes control of a segment, it always makes us laugh.
Right.
Tyvis is going to be here. He's going to give his last thoughts on the Browns and the Buckeyes before we go into our football weekend. Also, pre-written headlines. Did you guys turn them in?
Yes. I forget
Mikey,
what mine was.
Anthony, is this a thumbs up? Is it a thumbs down? How were they in general? Entertaining?
Entertaining, but a lot of similar thoughts.
A lot of similar thoughts.
Which is the theme of the week.
Okay.
We're all kind of
we're on the same page.
Here, so.
I know.
On the same page.
Yeah.
This deep into the season, it's getting a little hard to be overly creative.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, you're very. I'm sitting there trying to make a play on fish and fins and.
Anthony came up with the production headline today.
Good.
He's done some creative stuff. I think this actually might be the most creative thing he's done in the 7-8 months I've done.
Low bar.
As much as I enjoy the pre-written headlines, I like his little tidbits that he puts in there in graphics.
These are good tidbits, too.
Yeah. All right, very good. And we're going to do a Cavs-Warriors preview. Mikey McNuggets had us all hyped up to do this on Wednesday. And then we came to work on Thursday morning. He goes, guys, it was Tuesday into Wednesday, I think.
After they took that.
It was Wednesday.
Was it Wednesday into
Thursday? I
Thursday?
said it Tuesday night for Wednesday's show.
Tuesday into Wednesday. We come in Wednesday. He's like, yeah, guys, my bad. They're not playing the Warriors tonight. They're playing the Warriors Friday.
Real quick, can we just say that I realized again when we were playing the Kings, and we will get back into that, Sacramento Kings, is the Sacramento Kings not always the NBA's island of misfit toys? Where you just say, oh, that's where Harrison Barnes is now.
Yeah, you're right.
I
said that with Harrison Barnes.
Yes, every team. I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's a third
funny.
Lopez brother?
Man.
And I wonder.
Polk, your favorite players on the Kings.
Who?
Deli.
Oh, yeah, Deli. Yeah,
I heard that too. I said the same thing about Mike Brown. Oh, Mike Brown.
Yeah, you don't even
still
know.
in the game.
You don't even. It is the island of misfit
Sacramento
toys
Kings.
in the NBA.
Can you imagine getting sent there? Oh gosh.
No, I know.
Horrible.
You're at the end of your rope when that's where
There's
you're
no
going.
making it out of there. It's a black hole.
It is. It really is.
Black hole of
You
the
just
NBA.
go and die.
Yeah.
But we're giving our final Browns
And they beat
thoughts. Bull, I want to start with you. We kind of get a clearer picture now of what's going to happen on the injury front. We were talking about it on the morning call this morning. If you haven't practiced by today, okay, you can be a game time decision and you can play, but how effective are you really going to be? Tell us what your thoughts are on who we know. We know that Denzel's going to play, and for me, that was the big one. Tell us your thoughts on the injuries, the guys that are going to be there, the guys that we are hoping are going to be there, and where you are on all of that.
Well, my guess is that Wyatt Teller will be back this week because he had a limited practice 2 days in a row.
Right.
So usually when an offensive lineman gets a limited practice, he's going to play. So I'm assuming he's back. I think the interesting thing on the offensive line is that Jack Conklin practiced on Wednesday but then did not practice yesterday. And so I wonder if something happened there because he, usually if you get the veteran day off, as Bitonio does, as Myles Garrett does, Clowney sometimes, that's usually on Wednesday, not Thursday.
Right.
So it's a little weird for him to have a limited practice. But I'm not that worried about that because James Hudson, when he has had to fill in, has done a great job. The disappointment, and I just assumed JOK would be out again this week. But David Njoku not playing, to me, guys, is a big deal.
Well,
now,
he hasn't been ruled out, right?
Right. I'm going to say he hasn't been confirmed, but he hasn't practiced at all. So,
and that's a little troubling.
Right. If he, it's a sprained ankle. So if he's not able to go even limited on Wednesday and Thursday, that makes me wonder how's he going to play.
Bull, have you looked at the weather for Miami? I know the hurricane is through Florida. My hope is it's going to be clear and not a wet field because I think if it's a wet field, you can just about rule Njoku out.
It's supposed to be a nice day. I think a high of 78, partly sunny skies. So it should be pretty much perfect weather in Miami on Sunday. So that's the biggest disappointment to me because I think we all kind of assumed that off the bye with a sprained ankle that Njoku would be back. But obviously that sprained ankle, at least it seems, and again, we'll find out this afternoon if he practices at all. If he gets in a limited practice today, then I'll change my mind. But as of now, it does seem like he's not going to play. And certainly they could use him to be a little more diverse offensively. But as you said earlier, Jay, I think getting Denzel Ward back for this game is huge because obviously their 1-2 punch right now is the most dangerous in the league. And so having Denzel Ward in the mix because you can't stop Tyreek Hill with one guy. It's not like you're putting one man. Not even like you're going to put Denzel Ward on him to shut him down. There's nobody can shut down Tyreek Hill on his own. But you want to have all your best DBs, and Greg Newsom's a little banged up too. He's had limited practice each day this week, but he's expected to play. But you want to have all hands on deck in that secondary to be able to slow down not only him, but Jalen Waddle and try to – because the goal with these guys to me is just don't let them break you, kill you for some 75-yard completion.
That's the key.
Even if they have a decent game, but there's not that one huge game-breaking play, I think they'll be all right. That's what you have to avoid is that huge one where maybe you blitz and you don't get there and it's one-on-one and Tyreek Hill gets over the top and it's over.
We can't have that. We can't have that. And we were talking yesterday, which it seems so odd, G. Bush, that with all these, he's approaching 80 catches. And with all this work, he's found the end zone 3 times. And it's almost like when you pitch to a power hitter that's in a home run drought, you kind of hold your breath because you know that sooner or later that lid's going to be blown off. And you come into this game hoping that he doesn't break a couple against the Browns and find the end zone.
He can do a couple of things. The first thing that he's able to do is, we talked about, he can run straight past you, right? We saw it a couple of times with John Johnson when he played for Kansas City. He just got behind him. There was really nothing we can do. But another problem with Tyreek Hill and trying to defend him is the fact that he can catch a slant and he'll give a guy a move, and then the next thing you know, he ran out of 3 angles. And he still went to the house. So it's like if you give him the positions throughout the field and you give him, if you're going to play zone, because you want people to we want to keep everything in front of you, they still are fast enough to get behind the linebacker in front of a safety and catch the ball in open space. Now the problem is, how do you get them on the ground?
Right.
So for me, I look at it, one of the biggest people is JOK. He has the speed to keep up seemingly more than Taki and other guys. But, he has to be able to be a good tackler. Tackling in space is going to be huge because they can throw a 5-yard slant, a screen pass. They can throw a quick little short stop route. And guess what? You miss a tackle, they're done. So you're going to have a lot of people on the field that are rallying to the football. You can't assume that one person is going to make the tackle. And I just think this is going to be a very interesting game in Joe Woods' defense is playing, because usually I would tell you, get after Tua. But I think that you have to do it in a number of ways, not just blitzing, because you do leave them on the island, and you got to take a chance. Jalen Waddle and the rest of the guys, they can go right past you. So if you don't get home. So I think they're going to want to get some pressure with 4. They got to be multiple in the way they do it. But this presents a unique set of problems for the Browns that I think they haven't seen this year.
Mike, I always like getting your read because sometimes you're amazingly positive.
Yeah,
I'm
all over
surprisingly sometimes. And then other times you're super pessimistic.
Yeah, well, I'm manic depressive, so.
Yeah, so I know
I think that probably plays into it.
It goes all over.
So we found out 2 things. I don't sleep.
I eat dog drugs.
Yeah,
No.
So where are you this week? Like, if your confidence meter goes to 10.
Yeah. I listened to this, and I listened to I've been reading about it, of course. I've been hearing it on the radio. I've heard you gentlemen speaking about it and about how we match up and concerns about this and that. And it really doesn't matter when it comes down to it, does it? Because we know what this team is capable of. We know how good they're capable of looking. We know how bad they're capable of looking. So all these things where we're saying, I think we have a slight advantage here, and our defensive line might be, that really doesn't matter because it's just what team's going to show up. We know we can. It's unlike in past years with the Browns. We actually know that we have the goods and we can win these games, which is a nice comfort, as opposed to in the past when we knew we were going into these things and we was just like, I wonder how we're going to lose and how bad it will look.
Right.
But now, last week or 2 weeks ago, we beat the team that went to the Super Bowl last year, and we did it pretty considerably. And that was the same team that looked terrible against New England. So it's really just a matter of who shows up, and so I'm in the dark. I'm at that point in the season where I'm just like, I stopped trying to look at as much at. I mean, it matters who's injured, it matters all that kind of stuff. But other than that, it's just like, are they going to play this week? Or do they feel like playing this week, or don't they? So that's kind of where I'm going into it.
Quiz every week. You don't know what's coming.
You don't.
You don't know what team you're going to get.
Yeah. Who am I basing it on? Are we comparing this to the team that we saw beat Cincinnati?
What I'm wondering is this not just the DNA of this group, of this team, even with the leadership folks that are there? Because in hearing you talk about that, we did the same thing to the Bengals last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why? At their place. Mm-hmm. And we also lost badly to the Patriots last year.
Yeah.
Again.
And so as I'm looking at sort of the DNA of this team, the makeup of this team, the common threads that have been here now throughout the Stefanski era, I don't understand. I know that all teams are going to have good games and all teams are going to have bad games, and there's a variance between your floor and your ceiling. Mm-hmm. But it seems with the Browns, their ceiling is here, Their floor is here.
Yes.
And that variance gap is just
You're totally right.
too big.
And
Now,
one of the reasons
guys,
that
I think you're wrong.
Go ahead, Adam.
You are right, but I think that the fact that you're making it seem unique is wrong. It's not.
No, I know every team has a variance, but Bull, it just seems like our great games are not just okay. They're like the Bengals looked entirely inept against us last week and last year. They looked entirely lost. And then there were other games last year and the Patriots it's a good example both this year and last year, the Patriots games. You look at how bad we looked. We couldn't move it on offense. We couldn't stop them on defense. I know every team has a gap between the floor and ceiling, but it just seems like ours is so wild and so erratic that, to Mike's point, what the hell are we going to get? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
But guys, we are so focused on the Browns, we're not paying that close attention to other teams. I could give you half the league where I could say the same thing about them, including the team you just mentioned, the Bengals, where they're high. Look at what the Bengals look like against the Browns, and look like what they looked like last week against Carolina.
Yeah,
so,
but that's your team that went to the Super Bowl last year, Bull. It does seem a little bit different.
And you know what? And I would say that they are a little like the Browns too.
Yeah.
They're a little more like them. Now, obviously, you can't use the Eagles because they're undefeated, but it just seems like we always talk about culture and taking the next step. I think I'm fascinated with golf. You guys know I love golf, and I love talking to professional golfers about their mindset because I think that sport more than any is one between the ears.
Yes.
And every golfer has always told this to me when I've asked about their games and their approach. They always say this: every guy on tour can make every single shot that we have to make. What it boils down to is how many of us can make them at the highest percentage.
Yes.
We're all great. And that's like in the NFL. They're all great. They all can make great plays. They all can score touchdowns. But what golfers will tell you, to be successful, to be a top 10 golfer, you have to eliminate your bad shots. You have to minimize your bad shots. And with this team, it seems like they can go out and win the club championship at any local club in the country, and they can also shoot 102 at a U.S. Open qualifier and miss the tournament.
Depending on their mentality that day, too. That's part of it.
Yeah, it's a big part of it.
Go ahead,
but guys, again, we could say this about so many teams. I just don't buy. I think we're freaking out. Like, this is why are the Browns like this? I think if we all followed every other team as closely, we'd find this to be the case with 20 teams.
Well, we all watch the league, Bull.
You also have to
right,
understand.
but we're not watching them. We're not watching all these other teams as closely as we watch the Browns.
And
so we're not going to know any of
we
them.
also have a history
I know, but
here, Bull, that you have to remember where we have been the joke for like 30 years. The go-to punchline.
Right, so
nobody's ever like, boy, I haven't seen anything that inept since the San Diego Chargers defense. It's always the Browns. So we have a
we're the bar.
Yes, we are. So even if that's
Mike,
not as true anymore, that we are still feeling that in the back of our heads.
But if anything, the Browns have been not part of the norm for many years. They've been so bad. They haven't been up and down. This year, they're more in the middle, like 20-something other teams. The goal of the league is for everybody to be average. And the league has kind of reached that goal with only a few teams. There's a few teams that really suck this year, and there's a few teams that are really good. And most of the others, 20-something teams, give you weeks where they look phenomenal and weeks where they look great and then weeks where they're in between.
What I'm saying, Bull, is I want to be the Bills.
No.
So even when you
of
lose,
course.
you're losing in close games that you could win. You're not having that blowout, and then you're not blowing out the AFC champion one week and losing to a team that missed the playoffs in the AFC by a lot the next week.
G. Bush, champion of the Bills.
I got something for, and I was waiting to break this. I've had a little theory and hypothesis all along. We've been talking about one Nicholas Chubb and his carries, right? Today I was talking to Nathan Zagura. We interviewed him, and Nathan brought up a point, and I made it a point that I wanted to see if the pitch count hypothesis was correct. And this all ties in. You look at what Nathan told me. He said, G. Bush, the first thing he out of his mouth, he said, they don't want to have over 20 carries because they want to keep both guys healthy. And the second big thing, which is the smoking gun a little bit, is the fact that he said the Browns have an analytic and a number that says Nick Chubb has diminishing returns after carry 18, 19 to 20. He said that the Browns feel as if he is not as strong approaching 20, and that they want to keep both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb within 30 touches combined. Now,
well, we've kind of figured that from a distance.
We kind of figured from distance, but now that I know that they have an analytic that says they're not going to, you look at his carries.
Bush, just about every back in the league, though, has diminishing returns after carry 18.
Sure. Yes.
Unless you're Derrick Henry, and even Derrick Henry.
Right.
But some of these backs, you'll hear them say, it's almost like he gets stronger as the game goes on.
Yeah.
Chubb, you're saying, is not analytically one of those guys.
It's not, but they feel inside their shop, they feel that number is accurate. They think that if we keep him under 20 carries, that's where he's most effective. Now, the problem with that is what happens when you have to stay in the game. So we've seen Nick Chubb a lot of times with
fourth quarter
on the sideline.
Drives me nuts.
And you're like, why is he on the sidelines? Well, listen, Stefanski, and there's a soundbite of him asking upstairs. If you go watch NFL films, by the way, this is how you know I'll be up all night. You watch the NFL top 100 players. It's a 3-minute clip. Stefanski's on the sideline. He has his sheet. He says, what do you want, coach? He's talking to Van Pelt.
Right.
What do you want? He said, you want Chubb? Yeah, let's get it. Let's get Chubb the ball. He runs the ball. Next clip. How many carries does he have? He says, okay, cool. He runs them again.
We don't know what the answer was.
We don't know what the answer was.
Right.
But the fact that they are charting, he has his during the game.
That confirms what we've been saying all along. He's on a hard, fast pitch.
Sometimes when we need him in the fourth quarter, they're like, we've already used him 19 times.
So hold on, Bull.
No, that doesn't mean he's not on account, Bull.
Listen, here's the thing. So if you go to look at it, he had 23 carries. But the game before, he had 16. Game before, he has 12.
Sure.
They got a couple carries that if he doesn't use them the week before, they can dip in to get a couple carries
over like airline miles.
It carries over.
They're like carryover.
Guys, I got no problem with that.
But it's under 20. It is never going to be over 25. Now, the problem with that, Bull, is you just talked about the situation with why are they so wildly swinging? Well, here's the point. When you have to do something during the game and you're game planning and you look at the flow of the game, sometimes you're going to be looking at Nick Chubb and be like, ooh, he has 12 carries already in the first half. I only got 8 to play with it in the second half. That changes the way you call the game. And if your team is predicated on the strength of the run game, that means you're going to have to lean on somebody else like Jacoby Brissett, which is not what you want to do. No. But you are being dictated by the stats. The analytics tell you how much they can go.
By the way, the reality is probably most teams do the same thing, number one. Number two, they have Kareem Hunt, who's a better number 2 back than any other team has in football. So it's not like there's a massive drop-off from Nick Chubb to Kareem Hunt. I just, and as the season goes along and as we get into the playoffs, I think those things go out the window in terms of, having just a feel for it. And
for some teams, I mean, but Bull, for some teams, I'll give you the baseball analogy. The Guardians were in a situation where they were sitting on their ace, but the analytics said, nope, don't throw them on 3 days rest, and we're home. And we're home. While the Yankees looked at the analytics and said, the analytics be damned, we're throwing our guy on 3 days rest, and they moved to the ALCS. So I know you're right. Here and there, you can go over it a little bit. If a pitcher's count is 100, he can go 106, but you're not going to go 115.
But Jay, Game 7 of the World Series, they went against the analytics. They pitched a pitcher on 3 days rest. How'd that work out?
In that situation, you're right. No, listen, and the analytics tell you that the ERA will go up. It goes up to almost 2 runs a game on 3 days rest. The Yankees looked at that information and said, you know what? There's got to be, for every 7 ERA, there's got to be a 3 ERA. We're going to roll the dice and think that our guy can give us the 3. The Indians, Guardians,
it worked for them in that case.
It worked for them. We don't
know if it would have worked for Bieber. Yeah,
we'll never know if it would have worked for Bieber. We don't know. The way Bieber pitched the second half of the season, I would have much rather lost with Bieber on the mound than in the dugout.
And if he would have gotten injured or blown that game, then we'd all be saying how we can't believe that they pitched Bieber that day.
None of us were saying that going into the game.
No, I thought. You're right. We weren't. We all felt fairly comfortable.
That,
but what I thought we were going to do was more of a bullpen game. It never turned into that because we know what happens from there. We have an injury update, guys. Hold on one second, Bull. We have an injury update. Go ahead, McNuggets.
Okay. We do have an injury update from Mary Kay. JOK back on the practice field today. He is back according to Mary Kay
That's
after
big.
missing Wednesday and Thursday. Njoku still working off to the side, dealing with an ankle injury. So Joker back on the field, Njoku still working on the sideline. Teller back at practice as well, in limited capacity.
Okay, that's great
I'll
news.
take that.
Yeah, that's great
That Teller
news.
thing's big.
Bull, what do you make of that?
I think it's great that you have JOK back. He'll certainly be able to help, as I think G was talking about before, on the defensive side. And it looks like the offensive linemen are coming back. And even the fact that Njoku kind of worked on the side a little bit gives me hope that maybe he can get out there. I mean, I guess we'll see how they officially list him after practice. Because I don't think the media could see the whole practice. I think media only sees part
they
of it.
kick him out. Yeah, they kick him out after basically after calisthenics or whatever the stretching they do.
Are they savvy enough, forgive my ignorance on this, to hide their hand as far as in front of the media where maybe Njoku goes in and takes some passes inside or something like that because they don't want it to be reported that Njoku's playing, or do they not think that far ahead for
Well,
stuff like this?
Bull, you could jump in on this. My knowledge of it is the league is very, very, very particular on how injuries are reported.
Okay.
Obviously, with gambling and with all the money that's changing hands,
Right.
They try to use that as the great equalizer, but it's almost a joke because for years, Tom Brady, I think, was listed on the injury report from the time he started his career to the time he left Tampa Bay. So, that's always
I just wondered how much they messed
I don't know.
up.
I do think they think about it a little bit, guys.
I
but
do
like,
too, yeah.
right? You could list him as limited. Like maybe the Browns feel like Njoku's okay, and if he practices today, they're going to list him as limited because in the media portion he was working to the side. So they can list him as limited, and in their minds they may think like he's 90%, he's good to go.
Right.
Hopefully that's the case.
I'm sure they use some smoke and mirrors here and there. Tyvis Powell joins us now. Tyvis, what was your experience with it, with the injury report and how teams can sort of play a little bit of games with what they actually report to the media?
Well, a lot of the times, if you have to have at least one practice in there. So very seldomly are they going to have guys that don't practice all week and then go play in the game. So if they listed you as limited, that could be as far as coming out doing warm-ups and doing an individual period. Like that's limited. Mm-hmm. But until you get the team period, that's when you'll know whether or not a player is going to. Those team periods usually are the answers to if they're going to play or not.
You know what, Tyvis, man? Let me talk to you real quick. I see you with your little chain on. What you got there? Tuck that in. You got a little 10K, or something.
Bro, I'm not a gloater.
That's a modest rope.
Yeah, that's a little something. You know what I'm saying? We gonna work on that. You gonna double that up?
Are you holding that microphone like a crooner? What are you holding that microphone, Tyvis?
Yes.
Why don't you put it down on the desk? We are professionals. Get a stand, man.
Why are you calling this man?
So all my life, I always wanted to be a rapper or a singer. So this is
see.
Like,
okay. No, it looks fierce.
I want to rock the mic down like they do on
It's like Steven Tyler.
Hey there, lonely girl.
The text. Wow. He has decent pipes. I didn't expect that. I should have.
Can't Tyvis do? We should have known he could sing.
Of course he could
If
sing.
he wanted to, he could go pro right now and he'd have a gold record
won
by
American
noon.
Idol. Yeah.
By noon,
Yeah,
he'd have a
Jay, I don't like to brag, but I could have been in the Temptations.
He doesn't like to brag. Yep. He'd be in the new Temptations.
Tyvis never changed, man.
Congratulations on that Duke. You got that Duke treatment, man. You good, man. Shout out to you, man. Your beard looking decent. It's filling in.
Real good.
I like it, man.
Wait,
I'm not gonna
what
hate.
treatment did
It's
he get?
filling in nice.
That's called a Duke.
What is it? Fill me in.
It's a Duke. It's by S Curl. Like it's like a treatment. You put it in and you
don't
comb,
use Duke, Jay?
It's like a comb through.
I'm not
gotta use Duke.
I'm not aware of the Duke culture.
The Duke.
Educate me.
It's not in your stores. It's not.
The Duke.
It's not in our stores.
No, it's not.
It's not on white Amazon.
Yeah.
The
No.
white
I'm thinking
Amazon.
about
does not sell Duke.
pulling the bull and shaving it down, actually.
Okay.
I'm about to go ahead and get my DeQuell and Leroy Horde on. I'm about to go ahead and shave my top back and then go ahead and shave.
Wow. So you're going to go clean on top and just the full beard.
I'm thinking about it, because it's inevitable. It's coming soon. So, I might.
Why? Because the hairline, you're starting to get LeBron going? Like the hairline?
No. I'm just thin. I'm just thin. The hairline is not going anywhere. the hair on
He's maturing. He's
is
maturing.
starting to thin out. So, at some point I got to let it go. So, I want to get ahead of the curve.
It'll end up looking good.
He's been at
He
home.
wants to make his own decision.
He's been at home
The hair
having
make
life
the decision
decisions.
for him.
This one was supposed to be like this. He having life decisions right now. Don't have the life decisions right now. No.
Oh, that's still
You
holding
good?
up.
You good? You get a Steven on that.
Yeah, you get a Sharpie on that.
Bro,
Kind of
you
looks
could
like
always
LeBron's
go in
head
the
5 years
spots-
The
ago.
Carlos Boozer.
You could go Jerome Bettis, where your beard and hairline looks like a geometry project, where you got like these incredible angles with protractors and everything's perfect,
I'm
dark
not-
straight lines.
Looks like made out of
I'm
Legos.
not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed to do it. Listen, I'm gonna be cool either way. Whether the
I
hair is
know. That's what's frustrating. You
I-
will.
the
right.
key
Mike-
is you get married before, and so that way you locked in anyway.
trick 'em.
So it-
Yep.
Locked
so
in.
it is what it is.
You locked in them savings.
You're like a
We used to
bald
say that at
Trojan horse.
DirecTV. You
Bald-
want to sign up today?
Lock
You
in
locked
the
in those savings.
Yeah. Mike said, well, you're right. That's why we're angry. See, because as we started losing our hair and getting old, the game was gone.
Yeah.
But Tyvis got that pretty face where he's gonna be Tyvis no matter when.
Yeah.
No matter what.
It'll look fine.
You gotta. I told Bull before, man. You gotta be able to make them laugh. You make them laugh, you go a long way.
Well, Bull said that's a bunch of bull.
He did say that.
Now listen to me.
To quote Brad Sellers, he
Tyvis.
said that's some BS right there.
Bullshit
Tyvis.
hop in here.
Stop with the nonsense already with this make you laugh. Some people care about it. Most women, just like most men, are shallow as crap. Most people are shallow, and they don't care about making them laugh.
You should always do this.
Oh no.
Yes.
See, that's absurd. Why would I? It's not worth it. Because see, now he's a meme. So why
That
would I?
looks like a tattoo.
Like the fact
That looks like Jay. Do you remember the show 100 years ago? A kid show. You're the only one besides me to be old enough to remember this.
Yeah.
Do you remember there was a show called Davy and Goliath? It
I
was
do
like
remember
claymation?
Davy and Goliath.
No,
and you're right. It's like the snap-on hair cap.
Davey,
That looks like Davy and Goliath right there.
Davey used to come. Davey used to come on in a show called Gumby.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello,
Yeah.
Davy.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
remember that. Yeah.
Teach me some religious lessons in the middle of my Gumby. That's always nice. Yes, he does. He looks like he's claymation. That's what Carlos
I didn't
Boozer
know
looks
that
like.
those were like religious propaganda until I got older.
Yeah,
until you see it.
They got me, man.
Hey,
Praise
listen,
God.
Bullwinkle-
It worked.
They fooled me.
Bullwinkle was. I was like, and next on this episode, will the communists win or not? I'm like, whoa, I didn't
Yeah.
know what.
That was complicated.
I was like, why? I don't understand these
Cartoon
choices.
propaganda.
Yeah.
Make
Yep.
it end.
Yeah.
Make it stop. Hey, Tyvis, Browns' final thoughts, because we're going to get your thoughts on that big Ohio State Indiana game coming up tomorrow.
Big ball,
Clash
big
of the
game,
Titans. We'll
big
do that
game.
before we leave. And if you can't say all you need to say about that game in 10 seconds, we're going to mute your mic. But in the meantime, give us it's Indiana. Give us your final thoughts on Browns and Dolphins.
last week.
True.
I know.
All right, so my final thoughts is this. I've been sitting back and I've been thinking about the Browns. And, since we are a cover 3 team, when I was on the show Wednesday, I said it's gonna depend on that pass rush. And that is still true. But we run cover 3 a lot. And you know who's important? If you watch the Dolphins film on their offense, they run a lot of dig routes. Waddle runs the dig, or they run the over route. They got Tyreek Hill run the digs. I think we even showed the shot chart where a lot of his passes either go to the left or to the middle. If you're going to run digs against cover 3, the hook droppers, which will be your Mike and Will linebacker, is going to be huge in this game, man. I don't know who they're going to put there this week. Deion Jones was one, and then the Mike, we don't know because they keep rotating them all. But those 2 guys are going to be key because when you throw dig routes, they typically tell them to run them to the hash. The ball should come on the hash. If you run a hook, if you're a hooker, your drop is actually 10 to 12 yards, 1 yard outside the hash. So if you hit your landmark, it actually should run right into you. But the routes are going to probably be run a little bit deeper, so they're going to have to get depth, and they're going to have to be able to play that dig route.
Tyvis, I got a question. You just said that I see the dig, but what I'm terrified of is the deep over, because if they don't bring nobody and he got time to let that thing develop, Tyreek Hill is going to run away from everybody, and he'll run it all the way across the boundary to the field, and then nothing you do about it.
Well, that's the thing about that. So if they run the over route, right? Guess whose responsibility that is? The linebackers.
Well, that's why it's so terrifying.
It's the linebackers. So listen, the way you have to do it is the linebackers have to be. They got to be smart this week. No, seriously.
This is looking bad.
That's good counsel.
No, if you go back and watch, I always give credit where credit's due. You go back and watch Seattle. KJ Wright, when he was at Seattle, when they played Kansas City, they would put Tyreek Hill at number 3, meaning he's the closest guy to the line of scrimmage, and he's on the ball, which is an indicator that this guy's going deep and over because that's a beater to this defense. So KJ would look and see that. What he would do is, typically linebackers are 5 to 6 yards off the ball. KJ would line 10 yards up off the ball because he knew what was coming. At that point, if you see these guys and you know they're going to run that over route, forget the run. Forget it. Like, if they run the ball for 8 yards, that's cool. We'll line up and play. But you cannot let this man beat you on the over route deep. So linebackers going to have to play with some depth in their initial drops this week.
Are we going to get the defense we saw against the Bengals, or are we going to get the defense we saw for the first 6-7 games this year?
Well, I think they're going to have to go with the Bengals. If they have any shot of winning this game, it has to be the Bengals. That pass
but can they
rush,
duplicate that, though? Can they duplicate that against this double receiver threat team?
Well, we're going off of history. History tells us that after we play the New England Patriots, we always play great defense, and we've got our New England Patriots game out the way. And since then, the defense have come to play. I think these guys, it's going to have to be communications. Remember, I drew it up on Wednesday. They're going to have a lot of communication, which the secondary has done a great job doing these last couple of weeks. And wow, the defense somehow seemed to have gotten better. It's funny how a little conversation can take you a long way on defense.
What's crazy is it's happened 2 years in a row, Ty.
That just gave me a great conspiracy theory. Do you think that's Bill Belichick just waiting until after he beats us, and then he's like, all right, let me show you what you're doing wrong, defense. He's like, get in here. He's like, well, here's what you got to do, you dumbass.
What the hell?
He fixes our defense after he plays us for the rest of the year. That's my theory. Because he still loves us deep in his heart. Hey, you brought up somebody, Tyvis, that I wanted to ask you about, actually. Deion Jones, is that his name?
That's his name.
The Browns picked him up. I didn't know anything about him, and we just grabbed him, and I don't know how he's doing or anything like that. I just know that we grabbed him to fill a need, and you've been watching. Yeah. Is he doing what he needs to do?
Last game, he had a really good game. I thought he played.
Okay.
So the thing about him is, like, he is undersized, but he does do well in coverage, and he's a pretty decent tackler. I mean, look, he had a sack and everything. TFL quarterback hit. The guy flies around, and the good thing about him is now he's back in the defense where he was that Pro Bowler. So to him, it's just knocking off a little bit of rust, reestablishing himself in this defense, learning it again, which shouldn't be hard because it's a very simple defense. And once he gets back to that, I think he can thrive.
Why was he available? Does anybody know why he was available?
He wasn't happy in Atlanta.
Because they said that he got into it with the D coordinator in Atlanta. Like they came in and switched the defensive scheme, and he just kind of don't fit that scheme. He's not that great of a player to fit that scheme, so they kind of like, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah, we'll take him. Yeah, I agree. I think he's looking better each week.
Cool.
Which is what you want. The more he understands the system and plays in it, the better he's going to be.
Is we going to get some bracket coverage this week? Do you think we're going to see some bracket coverage? I look at it this. I watched some stuff on New England when they was playing Tyreek Hill. And what they was doing is they would have somebody follow him over the top. They say the linebacker or the corner got him, and they'll bracket and put a dude over the top and just let Kelsey do his thing. Now, I don't know if you could do that because Jalen Waddle could do the same exact thing that he can do. But will you see any bracket coverage on either one of these dudes?
So, yeah, you definitely will. They're going to probably come out at the beginning of the game, probably play it honest. But when we played him, so when I was in San Francisco and he was in Kansas City, we tried that. Every team that I've been on has tried to bracket coverage Tyreek Hill, meaning that wherever he's at, there's an extra guy there to be over the top. And when that happens, you leaving yourself subjective to the other guy getting off, and which would be Jalen Waddle in this. Now, Waddle's game to me, I feel like a corner could play him man-to-man and be kind of effective on him. It sounds crazy to say that given his stats, but he's fast. Don't get me wrong. But to me, I think one-on-one coverage, like if they was to say, we're going to shift our coverage to Tyreek Hill and put Denzel Ward on Waddle, I think Denzel could completely shut down Jalen Waddle.
I like that.
And you can have all your coverage on Tyreek Hill. I could see that, but I don't know. I think it was one of those ones you have to see how it goes and be able to make those adjustments in game.
We're going to get to pre-written headlines in a second. Before we do, I've got one last question for you. Is this the biggest test of the year so far for Joe Woods? Just from a scheme standpoint and knowing the weapons that he has to stop?
I would definitely say 1,000% it is, because I would say next week would be if Josh Allen is available, but this week for sure is definitely the hardest task because it's not easy. Because if things get out of hand, it can get out of hand fast, and this team can run up 40 points easily. So trying to because you're not gonna stop Tyreek Hill. Like there's no absolutely way to stop him. The only thing you can do is try to affect Tua, and try to get some pressure in his face, which me and Leroy sees differently on this. I still think that every now and again you got to find a way to put some pressure on Tua to make him uncomfortable in that pocket.
And keep him honest. If he thinks he can just drop back every single play with no pressure,
we ain't gonna do that.
He'll pick you to pieces.
I want no parts of that.
But Joe Woods got the pieces to get it done. As crazy as it sounds, he has. This secondary is good enough to get it done, and that pass rush is good enough to cause havoc for Tua every play.
Oh, hell, it better be. We got Myles Garrett on that line. It better be. All right, do we want Ty to start with his pre-written headline? Should he go first?
Yeah, Tyvis is going to go first.
We haven't even gotten his take on whether Ohio State's going to win.
Yep.
Yeah. How dare you?
Exactly.
How dare you?
We need
break
the analysis.
the game down. You have 10 seconds.
What's
Ready?
it come
Go.
down to?
So what it comes down to is our ability to be able to run the ball. Yes, we should be. It's a 40-point spread or something like that. We should definitely take care of business, but it's never a guarantee. Indiana is going to sling the ball, so it's going to give our secondary chances. What I need to see out of this secondary is that they have the ability to make plays on the ball. I'm still a little bit scared about our corner play because I haven't seen any interceptions from them, so that will be interesting. But the interior of our offensive line, as far as running the ball, will be under a microscope this game. They have to be able to show that they can effectively run the ball when they want to, because I think if this team had to have it, like if it was a down 4th and 2 and we were going against one of those teams that's projected to be in the CFP, at this present moment, I don't think we'd be able to get those 2 yards, and that's a major concern for me if we're talking about winning the championship.
Yeah, especially when you look at what Georgia. Right now, as optimistic as I am for the Bucks to win the Big Ten and make the CFP, I just know what's waiting for them when they get there. That Georgia team just looks. They remind me a little bit of the LSU team with Joe Burrow that won it when I don't know who's going to match up. Who's going to beat them?
Whoa!
Listen, man.
Smoke show.
Whoa!
What's their weakness? That's what I mean. Like LSU didn't have a weakness. I watched LSU and I said they're dominant on both sides. I think that team was one of the best college football teams I've ever seen. But I'm looking at this Georgia team and what they did against Tennessee, who I've seen 3 or 4 times this year, and I thought they were legit. They just shut them down. And so I'm looking at Georgia saying, okay, how do you beat them? Are you gonna be able to put up 40 on them? No. Are you gonna be able to stop their offense? I don't think so. And that's the way
I think the biggest thing that happened for Ohio State was the fact that Alabama lost. Ohio State might get to the national championship, right?
Yeah.
They might see.
But listen, we don't want to get there. I'm talking about winning it, and winning you're going to have to get by Georgia.
Something could happen. Anything can happen.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
A fluke could happen.
Stuff happens. So getting there's but I want to congratulate you, Tyvis, for finding something to say about the Ohio State-Indiana game for like 35 seconds, and it made sense. And you had me until you pretended for a second, like, you got to be careful, though. Indiana might win. I was like, all right.
Too.
Okay.
That's not what I was never going to say that.
You tried a little bit.
All right, what's your pre-written headline for the Browns and the Dolphins? Do you want to do that now?
Yeah. Tyvis, you ready?
Yeah,
Are you really ready?
I don't remember what I said.
I'm the same way.
He forgot it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now I remember.
Now I remember. Yeah, not the same old Browns. The defense hold defense to a season low score. Listen, I y'all might call me crazy, which at least you call it. That's a Drake.
Boom.
Anybody knows.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's one of those games to me that I don't think the Cincinnati game was as fluke as people think. The way they've been playing defense.
Who we are?
I think they are. I think they turned the page. I think this team has battled adversity, which you need, because when you go through adversity, now you have those real conversations. Wow, my daughter's coming downstairs. I just seen her.
Here we go.
Cameo.
Cameo.
That was like a nice.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, beautiful.
Get on up there, little girl.
Aw.
There we go.
Oh, my God.
This is
so
already my favorite moment in UCSS history.
Anyways, yeah. So I think that the defense is going to come to play. I think that pass rush is for real. That right there is what's going to propel everybody. Now that the defense is communicating, if you communicate, you can't be stopped. And I think that this secondary is going to be up for the task. Denzel's going to be fired up. This is his first game back from being hurt or the concussion. Yeah, throw up the fist.
Man, you might as well just stop talking. This is useless. No one is paying attention
We're
to
only
you.
looking at
We're
your
only
adorable
looking at
daughter.
your daughter.
For
That's
the first time in UCSS history, you are not the prettiest one on the show.
That's
I
true.
You might try to hear that.
Hey, tell her to tell all her friends to like and subscribe.
And keep us in the rotation right behind Blues,
Hey, that
Clues, and
YouTube
Elmo.
demographic does skew young.
Exactly.
Hey, Tyvis.
I'm back. Yes.
Tyvis, how many points are the Browns defense going to hold the Dolphins to?
Season low, he said.
Listen, yeah, season low. I'm going to say 21.
Well, they've given up. There was one game the Dolphins only scored 16, so then you'd be wrong. Your headline would be wrong.
Oh, that almost hit.
Hold on, wait a minute. See, let me throw an asterisk in there. Was that the game? Did Tua play?
Yes, he did. It was his first game back.
They beat the Steelers 16-10 or something like that.
Oh, yeah, we're getting 14 points then. There we go. 21-14,
right.
24-14 Browns.
He has spoken. Tyvis, thank you.
Thanks, Tyvis.
Appreciate it, young
Bye.
man.
Peace out, y'all.
Bye.
She's beautiful. She's absolutely beautiful. Not that we're surprised about that. All right, Bull, you're up next on the pre-written headlines gimmick. What do you got?
Okay, here we go. Put it up there, Mikey.
Let's take it full.
Nice.
Browns reeling the fish. Garrett sacks Tua 3 times as Browns win second straight. Yeah,
That's good work
I think
there,
this-
Anthony, on the graphic.
It really is.
That is phenomenal.
By the
Tua on a
way,
Dolphin.
Yeah, it's great.
That is. I don't like half creatures. They freak me out though. Like I don't like half.
It is creepy.
Yeah. You've always had trouble with half creatures.
yeah,
You hate
By the way-
centaurs.
Yeah.
I remember
It's like
that.
a man-made.
Yeah.
By the way, 2 things on this UCSS Times that I like here. Missing person Earl. Have you seen him? Is Earl still
where's
sticking
Earl
out as
been?
well?
Earl is still sick.
Yeah.
He's
What is he-
struggling.
everyone
It's the
have?
upper respiratory that's going on.
We all
No,
have
listen,
post-COVID.
I think I have it too.
Hey,
Stay away. Why are you in here?
Listen.
I keep testing negative. So you're not supposed to stay home every time you get a cold.
Yep. And I keep not testing and coming in anyways. Even though I feel like hell.
Mike keeps testing positive, saying the hell with it.
Hey,
And by the way,
Misery.
We were talking.
And that
Actually, my
other
girlfriend and I
corner-
were talking about how we could probably use like a COVID week off next. Like, we're both
Schedule
like
it.
hoping it to become positive, like just to take a week off.
Nah, bro, I'm gonna be right on in here. Y'all be doing the show by myself. It'll be a podcast.
Guys,
the
Bull
way my
has to
second and
point something
safety
out
set
here.
up.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, Bull.
In the upper right-hand corner, we got to put this up again. Anthony fell downstairs.
Yeah,
is this
what
true?
happened?
We're going to pass the mic over to Anthony here. Anthony,
Okay,
you
great.
can
Yeah,
explain.
what happened?
Ready? All right.
Did you
yeah,
put your
so-
own Easter egg into that so that you
Yeah.
could tell this story, Anthony?
Yes.
I love
Yes,
it.
absolutely.
All
I
right,
love
go
the
ahead.
attention.
Go ahead.
Anyways, I went down some hardwood stairs on just wearing like socks.
Oh,
on my feet
socks and hardwood stairs
onto a
are
tile
death.
floor in a kitchen. So I've been messed up all week. Took a chunk of skin off of my hand.
Oh.
My elbows all wrapped.
How many
You gotta at
stairs
least
did
wear
you fall
totes.
Probably like 7 or 8 steps.
Wow.
Right into the kitchen.
So it sounded like a drum roll.
It was on. Fun fact: it was on the meeting for the Cavaliers retail team because my friend was on a Zoom call, and I fell right in front of all of them.
Oh, that's so
Oh
great.
man, there's
bro.
not. It's not recorded, is it? I know.
I
It's,
don't think I can get the call.
Listen,
no, but
man.
it'd be
Please
really
try.
funny if we could.
Can you at least make an effort
Please
to get
try.
that?
I'm gonna let you know something, bro. You low-key got a guy foul. That's a man foul. A man is supposed to not be walking around in those socks, dog. That's
not on hardwood floor, not on steps.
You got socks like that? I don't. If I seen you in socks, I'm like, bro, you feeling real emotional today. Anthony was running around with the wine.
Yeah.
And a long
smoking jacket
and a scarf.
You were sober though, Anthony, right?
You can't do that.
Okay.
Anthony was allegedly sober.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, G. Bush, you ready for your headline?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait. Well, we got to hear more from Bull on his headline because I like his headline. I thought it was good.
Bull, that meant they didn't like it. They wanted to fast forward that.
I like it. Mike, what the hell?
I like it.
We were too hung up on the graphic.
We got sidetracked by MIA
I know.
Earl and debacle. But yeah, Bull, I apologize. Take
All right, so a couple things here. For like a week, I was like, the Browns are going to lose. The Browns are going to lose. The Browns are going to lose. And as this second week has gone on, I've talked myself into the Browns winning this game.
We do.
And I think it's going to come down to Myles Garrett having another monster game like he did last week and making Tua uncomfortable. Tua's had a lot of time to throw the last few weeks. He's only been sacked twice. But they've played against bad teams. Now, I'm betting that the Browns are not a bad team and that their defense is coming to life as it probably should have been all year. They may get JOK back, as we talked about him being in practice today, which means with Denzel Ward back and Newsome able to play, and the way Taki's played lately, the defense is as healthy as it's been in a couple of weeks since Anthony Walker and a few guys started going down. I think they have to continue to play aggressively like they did in Cincinnati, and the Dolphins, like the Bengals, are a one-dimensional team. And I just think as good as they are, as good as Tyreek Hill is, and Waddle and Tua, I think they've overachieved. I don't think their offense should be this good. The second part of it is their defense is not good. That's getting lost in the fact that their offense has been so great. In the last 6 games, they played the Steelers. They held the Steelers to 10. The Steelers are awful. If you take out the Steeler game and the other 5 games they played in the last 6 weeks, their defense is giving up 30 points per game. 30.
Wow.
That is horrible.
And Bull, we've got the 5th most explosive offense in the NFL, believe it or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and I know some of you running back truthers are not going to like this. I expect the Browns to actually throw the ball quite a bit on first down. If you look at efficiency ratings for the Dolphins, some statistics for you, some deep analytics, the Dolphins are one of the worst teams in football against the pass on first down, and they're actually very good on first down against the run. The Browns, meanwhile, in terms of efficiency, are top 10 in the league in both running and throwing on first down.
Wow.
They're really good at both.
I wouldn't have guessed
so
that.
if they're really good at both and the Dolphins stink against the pass on
Then
first down.
load up the pass.
How does that happen? Really? How does a team somehow, how are they bad at one down at covering? It's because of whatever defensive scheme they're running? It doesn't how does that happen?
G-Bush is probably tendencies, right?
It's tendencies.
You learn teams' tendencies. And
they based on what you see in film, they'll say, okay, on rundowns, on first down, when they get in this particular formation, say 11 or 12 personnel, they run the ball 65% of the time.
Okay, I see.
And so they know that, and you know that. Now, the trick is to say, okay, well, if you know I'm running it 65 times, do I want to trick you and break tendency, right, and run play action on first down? Or do I want to just say, I don't believe you. I don't believe you're good enough to stop me, even if you do know where we're running.
Yeah.
So
it just seems like if I'm Miami and I see that statistic that's available apparently to Bull, and I have access to that statistic, I adjust whatever is happening
that too.
Well,
to try and fix
what
that,
they may be doing. And Bull, this is one of those, I always say that I'm not down completely on analytics. This might be a perfect example of how the Browns are using analytics to their benefit, and it's actually, the data actually is being helpful. Because to me, if you're top 10 in both, based on tendencies, you know what the other team is going to do. It sounds like they're out-chessing the other team on first downs.
Right.
Now, I would love to do that on second down and third down.
Right.
But it's good that we're doing it on first down, because that's the one down when you look at down efficiency and productivity on a down. First down is the best one to look at because you're always, the vast majority, you're in 1st and 10. So, second down efficiency gets tough because sometimes it's 2nd and 1, sometimes it's 2nd and 14. But first down efficiency, the fact that they're in the top 10 in the league, both running and passing it on first down, man, this team is a lot better offensively than we expected them to be, than I expected
With
them
that
to
sweet
be.
running Jacoby Brissett engine behind it.
Right.
Well, one thing that the teams will do that are really good defensively, we know you're really great at running and passing, you could do both on first down. We're just going to run base. So what we're going to do is we're going to depend on stopping the run with our front four. And if you pass the ball, we have people. So that's how you can really trick someone. Say, for instance, we get in base formation and it looks like we have 3 linebackers. You're thinking maybe one of those linebackers or 2 of them are going to blitz because we want to stack the line of scrimmage. But then you snap the ball, run play action, and lo and behold, they're not bringing any of those linebackers. They're dropping into deep hooks or middle thirds, and they're going to play quarters with their corners. So now you thought that you were going to bring everybody else in. We got 3 tight ends. Let's go ahead and run 3 tight ends. Didn't break tendency because you think 3 tight ends run. No, we run 3 tight ends. Let's go run with play action. And then now the tight ends aren't open because they're not going to be vertical routes. So these are all different gymnastics people are doing every single play. But you need the personnel to be able to stop any of that with four down linemen, which most people don't have.
Right. So, okay, what do you have for your pre-written headline?
I don't know. I forgot about it. We're going to put it up here.
None of us remember what we sent.
There it is. Dolphins offense, a fish out of water. Browns defense suffocates Tua in 27-20 win.
Wow.
Now obviously, Dolphins will suffocate if they don't have any water.
Right.
So they're out of the water. You get it.
I see the play on words.
Play on words.
Yeah, you can't say they're going to drown.
They can't drown, right?
What was that score you called?
27-20.
27-20. That sounds
Now,
feasible.
can we go back to the Anthony graphics? It was a no fish. Was someone flipping someone off, and we're blocking it with a no fish
We
sign?
have a bull sighting. He's ordering food.
He's on Uber Eats right now.
Yeah.
It's Myles Garrett. I'm not sure if he's flipping someone off. It just
Why
says,
is his number janky?
Yeah. That's a
It's
mirror. That's
backwards
a mirror image.
Anthony to mirror image him?
Yeah.
He
Good
flipped
catch.
Yeah. For work.
Anthony, I, other than this, you've been A+ today, and then you throw this at me. I don't even know what the hell.
I love that the front page for like weeks now has just been talking about Anthony falling down the stairs and Earl being missing.
I also I just noticed this. This is a newspaper, and it says story at 6. As if there's a 6 o'clock newspaper newscast.
Well, it'll be on the 6 o'clock update on the digital page.
Digital page. Got you.
Story at 6.
It's not a perfect system, everybody.
All right,
Polk.
Mike, what do you got?
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Wait, before you put it up, do you remember yours?
I remember I used alliteration. No, that's not what I did.
No, that's mine, guys.
All right, sorry.
Oh, that's Jay's. Well, Jay,
You want me to just go ahead and do it?
Yeah, Jay, you're up.
All right, yeah, I'm just going to, trying to think of a play on words with the Finns. I believe, it's funny, when I was listening to Bull explain how he thinks the game is going to play out, it literally this dude is tapped into my mind because I echo everything that Bull said. I do believe that Myles
By the way,
Garrett
we should
is
pull that as a
healthy.
quote.
Yeah, no, because it's the only time we agree.
I echo everything that Bull said.
Yeah.
Grab that
Well,
as an
clip
audio
that
clip.
said Jay Crawford never.
Right? Well, we agree on baseball a lot.
We do.
Baseball, we're all
We
on
actually
the same
agree a lot more than people
Yeah.
think.
It's just been
it's
some
not as
highlight
much fun when you
disagreement.
agree.
You guys just get down in the weeds. Y'all be like, is it
There it
light
is.
blue or kind of a powdery blue?
Yeah, right. Because neither one of us want to admit we might be wrong.
Same thing, dog.
No,
Same thing.
That's a good
That's
one,
funny.
G. Bush. So, I really think that because of the way this defense talked before the season, it's up to us. We don't have our quarterback yet. We've got to hold serve. And they didn't do that. And Myles, the whole distraction with the automobile accident, I think he's fully healthy. I think we saw how disruptive he can be, and in particular in big spots against the Bengals. We're going to need that Myles Garrett the rest of the way. And I think that I haven't talked to anybody that knows him. I'm just guessing how an incident like that can change someone's life. And coming up later in our final takes, I will give you a perfect example how an incident like that can change your life forever. A very close family member of mine, had something like this happen to them while I was on my cruise. I haven't even talked about it really with friends or publicly yet, but it's devastating.
I don't want to follow that take.
It's going to be tough for me to get through, but I will say I'm thinking that Myles may have had an epiphany in that moment and realized that, there are things in life that are more important than fast cars. I feel like he was a different guy last week.
He was.
And I don't know why. I just feel, when watching him, I feel like, wow.
Am I wrong? Is he the best rated player according to Pro Football
Yes, he
Focus
is
right
for
now?
the season.
He is.
For the season.
Yeah, for the season.
I mean, I think that just tells me that he's doing so much more than even I'm probably recognizing.
And I would second that.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching it differently than the people at Pro Football Focus because there are times where he turns into a ghost for large swaths of games. But if we get the Myles Garrett in Miami that we saw in Cleveland on Halloween, then I think it's anything's possible.
I always tell people, like, when you look at defense, and I saw one of the greatest offensive teams I've ever seen in my life was the Patriots, where, I mean, Tom Brady was throwing 50.
They rewrote the offensive record book.
50 touchdown. He was just doing crazy stuff.
Randy Moss,
prime Moss. And I remember when they got to the Super Bowl, and it was after the first quarter, they had Justin Tuck. They had a Strahan, O.C. Umenuro. They had those three dudes, and it was nothing they could do. Yeah. All they needed was the front. They couldn't run. They couldn't pass. It was just suffocating. When you got a defense like that, that translates wherever you go. Tua ain't got time to throw the ball. He's just not gonna do it. And Myles Garrett is that good. He's on that level or better than all three of those guys.
And the fact that he's rated that high, and like you said, sometimes it still does seem like we haven't heard his name in a while. And they're paying attention to the stuff that we're not seeing. That means he's probably doing other stuff to rack up pressures or stuff like that, or just taking, he's taking on
drawing attention
and helping other people get to the ball. And they take those sort of things into account, and we can't see that.
McNuggets, should we be concerned that this is a huge game? We all picked the Browns.
We haven't even got finished yet, and we have a internet submission real quick on a headline. David Snodgrass says, Browns have fish for dinner in close win. So, Polk, you want to follow that up with your headline?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hey,
what was his?
Hold on, Mike.
Yeah.
I got a great stat that you guys are going to love that'll make you also feel good.
Is it the one we just retweeted?
What was it? Maybe I missed it?
Is it about non-flying animals?
Oh, you did sorry, I didn't see it.
Well, you can tell us.
We didn't see it. What are you talking about?
Well,
so put it up, Mike.
Full, yeah.
Kevin Stefanski. Shout out to Dollar Dog Nick. Kevin Stefanski 11-0 against teams named after animals that can't fly.
That's the best stat.
Wow.
By the way, I just went through the schedule to confirm that this was true for the last 3 years. It is 5-0 against the Bengals and 1-0 against the following 6 teams: Colts, Jaguars, Bears, Broncos, Lions, and Panthers.
That is way to go, Dollar Dog Nick.
Vital.
Man, people have a lot of free time on their hands.
All right, Polk, you ready for your
Thank
headline
God
here?
they do. Yeah, go ahead. Let's roll. Let's see it. Here it comes.
Mike will be surprised like all the rest of us.
I use alliteration.
Oh, yeah.
Tua toppled, Teddy tanked. I don't wish for him to be injured or have to leave the game, but I've just got a feeling that he might not finish this game, and then Teddy Bridgewater's going to come in and do his Teddy Bridgewater thing.
So that's one of those headlines that's so specific that it's a mic drop if it happens.
If it happens, you win.
Well, I mean, he's got an injury history. He's got like 75 concussions. He's going against Myles Garrett. They're not the best. I think they are a little overrated, like as Adam said, and I could see him getting dinged up. So I think that could happen.
By the way, I do have a question, McNuggets. Maybe you guys know this, and I'll throw this out to the whole entire staff. Why is it that it's okay to eat like tuna and fish, but you can't technically eat a dolphin?
Who says I can't eat a dolphin?
You can't.
I can't legally eat a dolphin?
I think the reason you can't is because it literally would be like chewing on rubber.
So
they're the most muscular animal.
But it's not. So it's not because it's a beloved, intelligent creature. It's because it's not tasty.
Well, I can't imagine it would be.
Well, they eat shark.
Yeah,
people eat shark.
It's not. I mean, it's not everywhere.
It's a delicacy.
If people that want to say they've eaten shark, try to eat shark. But I just can't imagine that.
I think your point is you're saying that we can't eat dolphins because they're nice, but we can eat sharks because they're mean.
Yes. Or I will say, like, you can't.
Yeah, but a shark will kick. I mean, a dolphin will kick a shark's ass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Google that. Tell me, am I lying?
I am not.
A dolphin.
Not like a great white.
It's a pack of them. If a pack of dolphins.
It depends.
It's a pack of dolphins.
I want to know. I want to know.
But there is a spectrum.
I've heard that dolphins can.
Does the dolphin? Does it have a harpoon? How's it hurting it?
But it's so strong they ram the living daylights out of it.
Eternal bleeding. Yeah.
I believe you guys. I don't know much about fish
According to Google,
What did you Google?
Would a dolphin beat a shark in a fight?
Yeah.
So very specific. And
Yeah.
the first
I love that.
The first result is from https://A-Z-animalfights.com.
I trust that website.
That's
And
what
it
I
says-
do.
That's legit.
It's where I go to for all
That's
my
my primo
animal fights.
What's it say?
animal fight website.
A shark would win in a fight against a dolphin. They are faster, larger, and more attuned to
Damn, I've been given bad information.
predatory than others.
But a
Furthermore,
pack-
their mouths are actually large enough to bite down on a dolphin
Ooh, see,
and
that's
deal
what I-
fatal damage.
That's
A
what I wondered
pack
about.
of dolphins. You need a swarm of them.
Now, I'm not sure if the analytics on this website go into
We had
packs
Devin.
versus
We had Devin
individuals,
Hester on Cold Pizza once, and this is when he was like taking a kickback every game. And we asked him, "Would you be able to score a touchdown if there was a grizzly bear on the 50-yard line and you had the ball at the end zone and all you had to do is stay in bounds, but you had to get to the other end zone? Could you score?" And then it turned into this long-running thing where we had
People are the speed of bears. Is it running downhill? What's the
Right.
temperature?
All the minutia.
We had animal experts that were literally reaching
Jane
out
Goodall's
to the show
on the show.
saying Devin Hester would get dusted. He'd get smoked. He would never
He'd
make
be
it.
eaten alive.
Talking about how fast these bears run and everything else.
Somebody told me the reason you can't eat certain animals, the higher intelligence level they are, the more bad
That's
you
right.
feel. So, like
Although pigs are very intelligent. though.
horses,
Yeah, you're right, Bull.
no, if you try to eat a racehorse, they're gonna no.
Okay.
You shouldn't eat any monkeys. That's not a
Well,
thing.
you can't catch a racehorse,
Yeah,
which is why you can't eat them.
Dolphins are a no-no, and definitely dogs are a no-no. Like these,
Here,
yes, here.
but
yeah.
in some countries,
in some countries, that's fair
that's
game.
dinner.
It's fair
Yeah.
game, dog.
which is crazy to me.
Which is nuts.
So we did all agree on the headlines, by the way.
Yeah, that scares
so
me.
Anthony, on the other
Hold on.
hand,
Go ahead, Bull.
Sorry, guys. I have two important animal facts that I have to share with you.
Animal
you
Planet.
really stopped us for animal facts right now?
Yes,
let him go.
this is
That's
much
how
more
it's
important.
great.
I'll be derailing people. Go ahead.
We've talked about the Browns for 72 hours. It's enough. All right. Number one, pigs are widely considered smarter than dogs, so that's a flaw in the theory. Number two, did you know?
But
and this
bacon
might
is
be
so
where you
good.
got your.
so good.
This might be where you got your
Bad
theory
information?
about dolphins.
Yeah.
Jay.
Right.
Killer whales. You know killer whales, orcas?
Yes.
Those are technically dolphins. Those are dolphins.
Oh.
Interesting.
And they
So they're
can
like the
kick
Mike
ass on
Tyson
anybody.
of dolphins.
That's right.
Those
Okay.
are
So
the
like
animal facts.
your standard
that.
dolphin can't beat a shark, but a killer whale, those things are badass and they're technically
Anthony,
dolphins.
Google killer whale versus shark.
Oh, that's
let's
come
go
on,
back to
that's not even
shark.com.
close.
You see, this
just
is
gonna
Killer
say-
That's
whales,
like
killer whales
Superman
take anybody.
versus
I want
Robin.
to see what our analytics
Daddy,
website for animal fights
Robin's
says.
dead.
Robin doesn't even get into the ring.
He might
it's
just,
over.
He might just use his eyeballs. Yeah, listen, lay down.
He's like, holy smokes, Batman!
We got
and the
the
fight's
answer. We
over.
got the answer. Hold on, guys.
Okay, what do you got?
Turn it over so I can read it. Yeah, I want to read this exactly. Quote, although the great white shark has a fearsome reputation, in a straight fight, it would be outclassed by the orca, a.k.a. a killer whale.
Superman
Not only are
versus
orcas
Robin.
much bigger, they're also smarter. Great whites are known to be warm-blooded. Orcas still have much higher metabolic rates because they breathe air. And there's also a program on TV during Shark Week called Killer Whites vs. Sharks. Check it out if you're interested.
I want
Remember how great it was whenever one of those orcas, killer whales, would get loose at SeaWorld and bite one of the trainers? That was always the best day.
Yeah,
wasn't
it happened from time to
You
time.
hear
Like,
about that?
It's glory
It's like
days,
Revenge
guys.
of the Nerds.
and I guess what?
I'm like, oh, they got him.
And this is a fact.
Give me that shrimp.
There wasn't a lot of brothers that did at SeaWorld.
No.
Not a lot of brothers at SeaWorld.
They knew better.
And we do have Anthony's headline, though, we got to get to before we
Oh,
get to
yeah,
Cavs, though.
absolutely.
Everyone on the panel agreed the Browns will beat the Dolphins. Anthony's going the other way. He's picking the Dolphins with this headline. March of the Penguins, Browns get waddled on.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay,
that
that's
one.
Pretty creative.
That's fresh.
that
there
one.
it is.
I
that
just hope
one.
it's wrong.
I see.
good.
I see what you was doing all
Took
night.
extra time on his art.
Look at that. You
Because
got
it's his headline.
You got perfectly matched penguins.
Everything's spelled
you got
right.
a mid dance like this.
You know what I mean?
Look how
The players aren't mirrored.
Right. He's not number 71.
This
Hey.
was made with love.
You see how much gloss. This is 1080p. He
Yeah.
ain't got all.
Yep, that's high res.
This dude and it's centered just right.
Anthony, I don't.
Cheater.
I've learned yesterday when we were ranking our celebrations for the season, and we had Waddle over the bowling. Mm-hmm. Anthony loved it, and so
He
did
stole
McNuggets.
that. He stole.
They just are absolutely infatuated with the Waddle,
Yeah, they love the waddle.
man.
and
look,
now he works
We're a
it into
Waddle
his
guy.
headline.
All right, let's talk a little Cavs, then we're going to play a little emoji game.
Mikey, I got to
Yes,
interrupt
Paul.
again.
What do you got?
I'm going to frustrate you
I
again.
can't wait till you
I
get
want another animal fact. We need a segment. Bulls animal facts.
I do have a lot of good animal facts, but honestly, this one is about the Browns. I texted two beat reporters for the Browns and said, is David Njoku going to play this week? One of them said doubtful. One of them said no, just so you have that.
Well, that means he definitely ain't playing then, right?
He ain't playing then.
Ooh.
You know who is playing, though? Cavs and the Warriors tonight.
Let's get it.
For real this time.
That's
Bill
exactly
Barr was
right.
playing.
It's the most anticipated game of the regular season.
You're catching on, Bull. So, guys, obviously the game on Wednesday against the Kings, bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
Bit.
Possibly overlooking Sacramento, looking ahead to Golden State. Before we get into the matchup, Jay, I want to ask you this first.
Yeah.
Do you still have a livid hatred for Golden State?
I don't.
Warriors franchise? No?
No, I don't. No, it was real. It was healthy dislike. It was never hatred, but it was a healthy dislike during the NBA Finals years, 16 and 17 and all of that whole stretch. But Steph's too good of a guy. Draymond Green, as big an asshole as he is on the court, is in person. If every single person in here met him, you would walk away and you would say,
Of course.
wow, that guy's like over the top nice, and he's a good dude.
Yep.
And so I don't. Now, if we meet him in the NBA Finals again, I might ratchet it up to a very strong dislike. But right now, it's respect. What they did last year, coming back and winning another title with a lot of the same pieces, but some new pieces mixed in. Wiggins was, was a newcomer to that.
You know what I think? I think there was a lot of people.
Right.
This sucked. I think a lot of people really don't like the Golden State Warriors because of the way that the Cavs players' relationship with the Warriors. Like when we got to 2016 happened and we won the championship, I wanted to be vindicated. Like I wanted to be like, oh, we're gonna beat y'all every year. But then in the offseason, it was kind of like, what do you mean Kyrie and Kevin Durant is cool? I already know where that's going. And then I'm like, okay, well then LeBron was like, oh no, I got to deal with Draymond Green. I got a podcast for him. I'm like, how? And then Anderson.
I don't like that in general.
Anderson Varejao was already over there, and I'm like, well, hold on, man, how am I supposed to not like them? And these dudes is buddies. Yeah. They cool.
G. Bush, you touched on something that we haven't really talked about much on this show, but Mike Ditka, every time he sees players exchanging jerseys and dabbing up and posing for photos, a little piece of his soul dies. It's that era, and you don't even have to go back to the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah.
Even the Kozars of the world, they had a mutual respect for the opposition. But once that final whistle blew, they were okay with shaking hands and getting to their locker room. But they weren't talking about off-season workout vacations.
No.
And now it's just like these guys now
and it's
all
open.
feel like they're all in open air.
But here's my question. And to be fair, I hear this a lot, and I get it. They don't hate each other anymore. They're not going up against each other.
Hate each other.
There's not that killer instinct anymore. And might be right, but that's the sport. That's the kind of mentality that was put into us by coaches when we were kids during that era.
You're right. Yeah.
And that's the only right way to do it is to have animosity on the court or on the field all the time.
To hate the opponent as much as we hate the opponent.
But is that just our generation? Does the younger generation are they like? You don't have to hate each other to be really good at a sport.
I don't know.
And like to be at your best.
Who's the youngest person in this room right now?
Do you have to be fueled by hate or anger or resentment or something for the other side in order to perform at your best? Maybe you do.
That's a good question.
I believe at the highest levels you do.
Well, are you okay with that? There was an NFL game this year that ended on a play that was reversed and overturned, and they had to bring the players back out on the field. There were a couple of players who had already signed their jerseys and given them to guys on the other team.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, hold on. Game's not over. We got to come back and we got to do this again.
Right.
And they had to get the jersey back, which they've already signed, from their... Are you okay with that kind of mutual respect?
I mean, personally, I hate it because, I'm old and curmudgeonly and I hate it. But that's just the way things are these days. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is a good thing that guys don't hate each other as much. I don't know. But we still have intense games. It's not like football is not intense or these sports are not intense.
Yeah.
I think these guys still want to beat each other. It's just the way it's a generational thing. For us, it seems crazy.
Bull.
I would play in high school baseball. I wanted to kill my opponent. High school baseball.
But that's because we had coaches, the male figures in our lives, yelling at us, you've got to hate them.
Yeah.
You got to want it more.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, then you stink.
And maybe that
got into our heads, and now that's why we all are mad all the time. I don't know.
Jay, I know you said – go ahead, Jay.
There is one reason why Tom Brady is still viable.
He's a sociopath.
Is because of that mentality.
Yeah.
He has it, they don't. So that's why he could be 50.
Because he's from that generation.
Because
He's from our generation.
That's why they stick around so long.
Yeah.
He gave his marriage up because he's like, oh, these dudes are soft. He looks at the way they prepare.
Yep.
He looks at the way they don't watch film. He looks at the fact that their eating habits ain't ready to go. Look, Carmelo Anthony could have been the greatest basketball player on the face of the planet. He refused to touch a weight.
He did.
Dwight Howard, he just refused to be serious.
Yeah.
These guys are talented, but even with LeBron did it with his body and everything. But LeBron was like, look, I can't, I don't know if I want to play at that level and carry a team as much as I need to carry them. And even he had to come up with say, listen, I'm just gonna go out in LA and hang out. Because if he wanted to, he should have never signed a second extension with the Lakers.
I was shocked he did.
But he took the bag because he wants to be a billionaire, and he'd already done chalked it up. He's like, okay.
He'd rather be a billionaire with 4 rings in LA than a billionaire with 6 rings somewhere
And
else.
lifestyle.
In Cleveland.
Lifestyle.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what hurts him. He would rather be a billionaire in LA with only 4 rings, but be a billionaire in Cleveland with 6 to 7.
Yeah, but they just started production on his reality show where they work in a pizza shop, so he's got to be there for that on set, obviously.
Yeah.
He's
the
the
mentality is
executive
different.
producer.
And I'll give Steph Curry credit. I'll give Steph credit. I'm going to give him credit for the fact that as long as he can shoot, a lot of guys don't think Steph can get put in that top 10. I'm telling you, if he keep winning these rings,
never.
Why not?
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Why not? How many rings he got? 4?
I'm weird because I know we're supposed to be talking about whether we hate Golden State still and whatnot, and I did not hate them through 2016, through that title. I never did. I always respected them. They did it the right way, too.
When Steph Curry was throwing his mouthpiece, you weren't.
Wait,
No,
Mike,
I mean, yeah, but I love
Mike,
that
you
rivalry.
can respect and hate at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, you can respect and dislike.
I hate the Warriors.
Yes.
The only reason I don't hate Steph Curry as much now is because he's on my fantasy team. That's the only reason I don't hate him as much now.
Right.
But I hate despite what Jay said, I'm sure Jay's right. He's a nice guy, but I hate Draymond Green.
Sure. And I hate.
I did
but
until I met him.
You're right. I had like an anger and a hatred, and like as far as they were arrogant, but they drafted that team. They came up. That wasn't like a super team they put together.
No.
So you already had to respect that.
And it wasn't like the
Until Durant.
Celtics that decided to team up and
the good management, and I even like their crowd and everything. I like their and then they were
coach
the
is
opposite
likable.
of the Miami Heat crowd, fan base. But then we get through 2016, and then they did the Kevin Durant thing, and that is when
that really bothered me.
Is when I lost respect. That's when I was like, now I hate this team, and I have the right to
now
hate
you
this
got a
team
hired
now.
gun on
And
that.
that's when I was like, screw
point.
them.
That's the point that when they got really bad. But I think the point that really got bad, but we really took. I don't say we're going to be happy about it, but look at what happened. We felt that there was some sort of karma, and the Toronto Raptors made me like. I let it all go because what happened?
Yeah.
They played the Raptors. They got beat.
Yep.
Durant tore his Achilles heel and was gone for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Klay Thompson tore his ACL.
Yeah.
And was gone. And then he came back.
They finished with the worst record in the league, didn't
They
they?
finished with the worst record in the league, got the #1 overall pick. And Steph Curry didn't play. Draymond Green, we saw him play. We always wanted to know, what would he look like
without his guys?
And he looked terrible.
Yep. We found out what he was.
They got all smoked. And then we were like, oh, okay.
But you know what?
Okay.
When you consider what this team has done, I don't think that you can find another team in sports ever that has done what they did.
No.
They won championships.
Yep.
They had bookend 4.
Best record in the league.
Yep.
Ever.
And in between that, they were the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So you went from first to worst to first, and most of the pieces remain the same. Now, granted, they were
came
injuries,
back.
and they came back from that.
Yes.
That's why last year, to me, I was like, I just got to tip my hat.
That was impressive.
I
It
got to
was.
tip my hat to these guys.
It was.
man.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we didn't quite do that. But if you think about it, that's not too different of a path from the Cavs when LeBron left and we were doing well. We went to the finals, if you'll recall, and whatnot.
Sure.
Then he left. We bottomed out. That's how we got Kyrie. Then he came back. We won a championship.
Yeah.
So I think that probably isn't unprecedented, that sort of
but
rise
our
and
best
fall.
player left and came back in that stretch.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Golden
That doesn't
State
happen.
didn't have that.
And he was born here.
And they won championships on
crazy.
both ends.
Yes.
which
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
Cavs
saying.
did.
There was bookend with championships, and in between, they were the worst team in the league. We've got a minute 45 left to talk about tonight's game. What do we expect?
Well, hopefully Darius Garland's playing better. I thought he had a really couple bad games. It's to be said. It's going to happen anyway. They're getting used to playing. I think they got a little used to Donovan Mitchell just having the ball at the end of the game. Now they have to interject, and guys got to get together. I'm a little worried about Mobley and where he gets his shots at. I think he's just playing with energy and rim running at this point. But it's a work in progress. So hopefully they'll close out on shooters. We'll see. If they win, we'll be super excited.
I think
Golden State.
I think Mobley will. I think he's finding his place. I think he's like he will adapt, and he's just figuring out where he fits in here. But I think that you're right. That is right now it looks weird. But my concern about this team, and I'm hoping I'm just making this up right now, like that I'm just seeing something that's not there. Is I think we got really anxious at the beginning of the season, super excited. We're like, oh, we got to skip the part where they had to learn how to gel together and become a good team. They're already there. It looks like we're going to dominate the whole season. And then we've had a wake-up call over the last couple of games where we're like, oh, okay, maybe that's not going to be quite as smooth and quite as immediate as we had hoped. The one thing that worries me just a little bit is when did Darius Garland start to shine? It's when Colin Sexton left, really.
Yeah.
Because there's one ball, and they both. I'm not sure if this would have always been the case. If he would have turned that corner otherwise, who knows? We never can know. But they both do well with the ball in their hand. And once he was gone, that was no longer an issue. Garland blossomed. And now we've got another guy who does really well with the ball in his hand.
Better than the guy who we talked about.
Much better.
Well, no,
and
wait
has
a
more
second,
of a right
guys.
to have it in his hand.
Wait, but hold on. Let
ahead.
me finish
Yeah.
his point
Yeah.
because Mike, I think he's honest. I'm not
And-
saying that they can't coexist.
Neither am I, and I want to make that clear
I share
too.
your fear.
I want to make that clear too. I don't think that. I think they can. I think they proved that they showed how amazing they can play together. But to find that groove, it's not as easy as everybody like we assumed it was after that first week, and it might take them a little longer than we thought. That's my concern.
Bull, what do you want
it
to add
should-
to that?
Okay, so number one, and nobody should have assumed there weren't going to be growing pains just because they got off to a good start.
No.
There were always going to be growing pains. There had to be. There are now. I have zero long-term concerns. I had some idiot already tweeted me yesterday and said, I think this team's better off without Darius Garland. That's short-sighted and stupid.
Wow.
All right? I'm not worried about
No.
Colin Sexton, when the ball went to Colin Sexton, it never came out. Donovan Mitchell, yes, he plays with the ball in his hand, but he is a huge passer. I mean, he's not a selfish player. So, yes, they do have to get used to playing with each other, which we knew, which is why when Garland came back, we get some of the growing pains that we thought we'd have initially, and we didn't because you didn't have to worry about it in the beginning of the year. Of course, these things take time. It's absolutely absurd to panic about it after 2 games.
Well, I know you're right. That's just a voice in the back of my head, and that.
Yeah.
And
I don't
that
think
was
it's
it.
panic, Bull. I think it's
No,
concern.
it's not.
It's a mild concern, and that is going to be the growing pain that they have to work through.
It's a thought.
How do they both? They're 2 ball dominant players.
Yep.
How do they find that groove? I have no
Yes.
doubt they will because their personalities will let that happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not sure
There's
Colin
zero
Sexton
reason to believe
was.
they won't figure it out eventually.
And by the way,
Zero reason to believe.
there's no planet where Colin Sexton is the same level as Mitchell.
Not even close.
He's shown
Oh my God.
he's a different level than I thought he was, and I knew he was all-star. So
I agree with that. He has been better than I expected him to be.
The Utah
and we knew
Cavs
what he
look pretty
was.
good too, though. The Utah Cavs look pretty good.
Lori marketing,
right.
by the way.
Balling
They do.
too.
You have some business. to
Yeah,
take
we
care
do.
of, right?
We are going to get to in a little segment. I don't know if it's a game. We'd say we're going to pick some winners based on what the internet said. And whenever we tell you what the internet says, it's brought to us by our good friends over at PCC Airfoils. Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC in Eastlake, Mentor, Wycliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers. to learn more. So as you guys know,
With PCC airfoils.
we do have membership tiers now. We have a $1.99 starters tier for membership that gets you these super cool emojis.
$1.99 a month,
Cool
right?
Community member posts. You just hit the join button. It's right next to the subscribe button in the chat and on our YouTube page. And then for $4.99 a month, you get the overtime content as well. And as before you drop this, Steve, Polk on Tuesday's show said I looked like I just walked in on something or went to a proctologist.
I actually said you walked. It looked like you walked in on your parents having sex.
I'm not gonna put
The
those words in my
proctologist.
mouth.
I mean, I said that.
Yeah,
all right.
Bull
Bull,
said that.
someone
Thing,
said
Mike.
it.
But the proctologist is also.
So we decided with all the other emojis, let's see what the internet would say for those reactions. So we got a bunch of them. We're gonna read a couple answers, and then Polk, we're gonna pick a winner. You ready?
Okay, great. Yeah.
Let's start with this
No,
one.
you go ahead and read them, Mikey. You pulled these.
All right, this is Brad. What do you think caused Brad to make this face? Anthony, let's cut to a couple of these answers. This from Bees Nuts. Michael Jordan punching Steve Kerr.
I do like that one.
Next. Joseph Roscos. Jay finally made a shot in the off-screen trash bin. Next. Watching Bull throw up live on TV. Polk, who's our winner?
I got one.
Go ahead.
That's his face when he finds out that G. Bush's little brother has been DMing his daughter.
Nice. I think that might
that
be my
true?
winner. No, it was a
No,
gag.
it's not true.
It was a
Total
joke.
gag.
Okay, because I looked at G-Bush like, wait, what?
Oh my God.
It was like, no.
I made that
Polk,
face.
who's the winner?
Thank God Brad doesn't have a
no.
computer.
We got a bunch of these, by the way. So Polk, who's the winner?
Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna go with the Jay missing the shot.
That was John Roscos, right?
Nice job, John.
Yeah,
Joe-
way to
Joe
go.
Roscoe.
Way to go, Joe.
Making a shot.
All right,
I ain't
number
never
two.
seen this man's face so serious, bull.
Number 2 is a G. Bush face. Let's take it. What do we think has G. Bush cheesing like this? First answer from Mike. He says all the Amazon.com orders for Joe Jaravicious go to G's house now. Next,
That's great.
Bro,
Nick
you're
Chubb.
vicious.
running the football. in the
There it
fourth
is.
quarter.
Run.
That's boring.
And this is from Shelly, PCC Airforce.
Yeah. Listen, man.
Ring a ding ding. That's your winner right there.
That's decent,
PCC
man.
airfoils. You can't go wrong.
PCC, this is a great one, too.
Look
though,
at our.
Shelly.
Look
I
at
thought
our
the first
viewers
one was the
shouting
best.
out our loyal
Loyal sponsors. We love to
advertisers.
see it.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
PCC's
next
been great.
is a Bull face. Why is Bull laughing so hard in this picture?
That
We
looks
have
like a
3
genuine
responses.
laugh.
Let's take him. First time hearing the word.
I love that.
Second,
This is
Baker
devastating.
throws 4 picks to go back-to-back for touchdowns.
There it
Did you
is.
see what Baker did last night?
Yeah, that was. We'll play
What
that in
a
a sec. If you
moron.
haven't seen that, we'll play that after
Bro.
these.
Oh
So
my
hit the tag
God.
over.
I didn't see
Lastly,
it, guys. I didn't know he played.
No, he didn't. But he was still has to do something that would make him the
Well,
center
at
of
the end,
attention.
we'll show it.
love
At
it.
the end, we'll show it. And then lastly, McNugget just asked another actor if he was excited to be in the upcoming Saw movie, which, if y'all didn't see, happened yesterday. Not my greatest moment. So,
No.
Polk,
Well, what does that have to do with my emoji?
why are you
'cause
laughing?
you're laughing.
Because
Yeah.
I asked a dumb question.
It was that
okay.
first one. I'm sorry. What was the first one? I enjoyed it very much.
Yes, it was Bull hearing the word chunt for the
Yes,
first time.
that's
Yeah,
it.
I think that's it.
Watching him giggle when someone says that,
Hey, man, y'all not getting me.
it warms my soul.
Y'all not about to
There
get
it
told.
is. Oh,
Never
chunt,
gets old,
chunt,
There
chunt.
it is. Okay, next we have a J. We have a J emoji like this.
Oh,
Let's
no.
take it real quick.
Okay, hold on.
What terrible take did Jay hear to react like this? Let's take the first bad take. The Browns are going to keep playing Jacoby Brissett the rest of the season instead of Deshaun. Next,
Yeah, that might make me do that.
Bull said Miles Straw is just average.
That's good.
And
That's
lastly,
good.
Bull explaining analytics
That's
to
another.
Jay.
That's another. That's
You know what?
another
Either
thing.
one of those
That's
could
another
make
one.
my head explode.
I like the
Appropriate,
Miles
yeah.
Straws.
Mike,
We're going Miles Straw. We're going Miles
Yeah,
Straw.
the
Well
Miles
done.
Straw
That's
one's
good.
good.
That
Yeah.
was Jonesy. Shout out to Jonesy.
Nice
for
job,
that
Jonesy.
one. Oh, no, it's T-Mag.
Jonesy.
Excuse me. T-Mag.
Oh,
T-Mag.
T-Mag, even better.
Do they get
T-Mag.
T-shirts or something? I feel like they should get a
Don't
T-shirt.
they
Sure,
get something?
come on down.
We'll figure it out.
But they got to come here to pick it up. We're not sending
Next-
anything in the
No,
mail.
we don't mail
Yeah,
things.
we actually, to everyone who we said we're going to send them to, we're in a mail stoppage right now. Like, you eventually, you legit will get a T-shirt.
Because of the
but
pandemic.
What you
It-
mean a mail
yeah.
stoppage?
I don't
it-
know. Just
KYC's not sending stuff out for
go
us
with
right
it.
now.
Did
so
he make
Wow.
It's coming. It's
gloss
coming.
over it.
All right, next is a Polk.
Oh,
This
boy.
is a Polk. What do we
Ooh.
do to get Polk to have this reaction?
I've never
We have 3
seen
answers
you look
again.
like that,
Me
Mike.
either. I'm furious.
One too many bad stadium hot dogs.
No such thing.
Next. Someone had one too many Taco Bell tacos.
Because it looks like I'm defecating.
Yeah, it kind of does look like you're trying to
And
pitch one
third,
out.
No one laughed at one of his jokes.
I'm used
that
to
never
that.
happens, though.
I'm used to that.
But it
yeah, you
never
grow
happens.
accustomed to it. Those
I
are
don't
all
like any
great.
of those answers.
But I'll go with the no one laughed at his jokes. Let's go with that one. Just
That was T-Mag again.
T-Mag bringing the
Back-to-back
heat.
dub.
T-Mag
It's
bringing
a
it today.
dynasty.
nice job,
She
T-Mag.
has more consecutive wins than the Browns this year.
Yeah, we haven't
Okay.
not won 2 in
Next
a row.
up, we have Tyvis. What does it look like Tyvis is doing here? Tyvis requoted this himself and said,
Of course.
has anyone called Denzel my dad yet? And I'm not sure how I like that. But, all right, we got 3 answers again. He's ordering himself a trophy for a made-up competition he claims he won.
That guy gets
That's
him.
our boy Eddie. Shout
guy
out
gets
Eddie
him.
for the great answer.
That guy watches a
You
lot.
can tell the super fans
Yeah.
because they get all the
They get all
inside
the
stuff.
jokes.
Yeah,
This is Becky, a.k.a. Not Your Mom, 828. Thanks for that clarification. Spending his own money to get a stand for a whiteboard. Becky, we have technology coming. We bought the app. We just have to get it connected to the system now. And
Do we
lastly,
really? Is that true?
Yeah, we
Oh,
have
good.
the app on the iPad, which is right here now. We just have to figure out how to get it connected to the vMix.
Okay, so
vMix
another
is a
6
pain
months,
in
we
the
should
butt.
be good.
I mean, just the work put in on this one.
This is Cody Douch. Looks like he got candy corn while trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Listen.
Cody made that himself.
Shout out to you, man.
He deserves that.
Well done on the artwork there.
Yeah. There.
There he is.
And hold on, leave that picture up. Leave that picture up. I'm going to read a text that Steve Becker just sent us that has to do with this.
If
Steve,
first, tell everybody Steve is our
leave Tyvis' picture up. This is Steve Becker, our EP.
right.
Steve texted Tyvis and dropped the topic bar so we can see his daughter, please. He said, I had to share this text with the team. I sent a text to Tyvis about how beautiful his daughter was, and he responded with this exactly. Quote, thanks. I'm mad she stole my shine. LOL.
Get
It's
up out
like,
of
do.
the-
it's like being
Classic
upstaged.
Like,
Classic Tyvis.
he was mad. My daughter just came downstairs. It's
I
over.
know. He's like, oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, she know
Right.
what she came for, and she sat right there perfectly. Like, yeah, you ain't gonna get no reason to get me off of you. I've been nice too. I ain't even crying.
Yep, she
Put
was
me on the
good.
screen.
She didn't even try and perform. She knew the attention was on her.
She's the center of it wherever she goes, no doubt.
So out of here, bro. You're done.
Okay.
Those
So
were really good. Do we have any more?
We do. We have one more. We have a G. Bush emoji.
Oh, I got another
And
one.
also, we have 2 more that we posted this morning.
Okay.
Didn't have time to put them in tag board, so we got some good answers on those. Check them out.
Okay.
But this is the last one. What did someone tell G. Bush to make him this salty?
Yeah,
Three answers.
that is the G. Bush's upset face.
StockX sells fake Jordans. Bees nuts.
Hey, that
would
hurt
do
my.
it.
JJ3 has actually played good defense this year.
Yeah, do
these
not
is-
say
And
that.
lastly,
G. Bush.
Oh dear.
that when he and the
Oh, this is
Ultimate Cleveland
terrifying.
fan
This could
visits
go south.
Australia for an international tour, he's told the kangaroo just took the keys to his Range Rover and took it for a spin.
Like, hey,
That video is so
Bro,
creepy to
That's
me.
creepy.
like, bro, listen.
Look at
man.
that dude is jacked.
Listen, I'm not. Listen, kangaroos, man. I looked. Listen, they have very sharp legs, claws. Cut
You want
wide
nothing to
open.
do with those things.
And I don't like.
I want a kangaroo against a shark.
I don't know how I feel about marsupials in general.
Mike, who would win between a kangaroo and a shark? Can we look that up
Anthony,
real
let's
quick?
get our analytics department.
Kangaroos are badass. I
When
don't
we
care
submit
what
our
it is.
budget
I
for
mean-
next year, I am requesting money for a animal versus animal fight analytics person only. I don't want them doing
yeah,
anything
full-time.
else.
That's a full-time gig.
It's a full-time gig, and we'll do at the end of every show. We'll end the show if this gets approved by the budget. I'll pay well. It will end every show after final takes with some animal fight and why a certain animal would win.
Right.
And like a whole breakdown on it. 2
I
minutes tops.
think that'd be a
120
service
seconds.
to the whole community.
I think it would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a
so it's
kangaroo and
a new site. This is neogaf.com, shark versus kangaroo sighting 219-612. So of course this is officially official.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong here. A kangaroo. Oh, this is a true story, allegedly. As I learned yesterday on the internet, you can't believe everything on the internet. So this is
Yeah.
according to the internet.
Grain of salt.
Can't believe most things on the internet.
A kangaroo met an unlikely death after it bounded into the surf in southern Australia and was mauled by the shark, according to multiple eyewitnesses. Daniel Hurst, who says he saw the incident while walking his dog, was accused of being drunk and on drugs. Well, Anthony, what are you giving me?
Wait, the witness was accused of being drunk and on drugs?
Or the
Wait, let me finish
kangaroo.
reading.
He
At least-
hallucinated the whole thing.
I did not listen. I did not proofread this before Anthony.
That made it better.
And then a
I'll
kangaroo.
repeat the sentence. that Anthony gave me to read. Anthony, no, I'm not going to throw him under the bus. I'm just throwing him under the bus here. Daniel Hurst, who says he saw the incident while walking his dogs, was accused of being drunk and on drugs after he told the story to his friends. With the emergence of a second witness and discovery of a mangled kangaroo corpus appeared to confirm his story.
Corpse.
Not corpus.
Corpse. Sorry,
Corpse. It's not Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi.
The story is actually, and hold on, there's a link to the story in
Multiple
BBC,
corpus.
the European website, BBC News. This is Anthony. You know what? I'm done. Anthony we need to hire a real animal. Let's go to final takes.
Can we agree?
DeQuell can't join us today. He got caught up doing what he has to do.
That guy definitely can't.
Wait, hold on. He got caught up doing what he has to do.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say what he's doing on air. I'm keeping that.
Now he just made it look worse.
Yeah.
He made it look terrible. I ain't allowed to tell what he up to.
Hey, as long as there's not a corpus involved, I'm good.
DeQuell's. I got in trouble for saying what Tim was doing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave it out.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'll tell y'all after the show. DeQuell's fine. He's doing well. He actually called me last thing before we do final takes. And Bo, we'll start with you on final takes. We have time.
Even though you just told me 5 minutes ago you didn't want me to do one, but I gotta.
Well,
prepare.
Jay's is serious, but we have enough time here. We ended a little early.
Okay.
But DeQuell called me at 11:01. He goes, "Yo, can you talk, bro?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm on air. What's up?" He goes, "Oh, my bad. I forgot. I'll call you back later." So we love DeQuell. He's the best. He's gonna be fine. He said he can't make it today. He'll try to come on 2 times. The next week he can make it on.
He'll get out. He's gonna get out on bail. Everything will be fine, you guys.
No, he's not in jail. I promise.
all right,
He's not
never
in jail.
mind.
He's fine. Bull, final take. You're up.
Yeah, we need, and I know this is spitting in the wind to some degree, we need more civility in our politics. We are finally starting to see just a little of it. Over the last couple of years, we've heard a lot of screaming and yelling about fixed elections. Obviously, none of that's true. None of it is fact-based. What happened to the days where we lost an election and conceded? But we've actually seen that this time around. Tim Ryan in Ohio, a Democrat. Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania, a Republican. Both lost and conceded. That's the way things have always worked, and that's the way things should always work. Listen, this country is as divided as it's been for a very long time. There's things we're all never going to agree on. But can we at least try to agree on facts and civility? That's not too much to ask. We may have opposing takes on how we want to make the country better, things that would make the country better, but we got to have some basics, basic respect. Cursing each other out, threatening violence against the other side is disgraceful no matter who's doing it. And when you lose an election, you say kudos to the other person. So kudos to Tim Ryan and Dr. Oz for admitting defeat, as everybody else should be doing that loses races. There's still a lot undecided. We have no idea who's going to have control of the Senate. We have no idea who's going to have control of the House yet. And these things take time. And to put pressure and try to throw violence on people that are trying to do their job for free in being in the pollsters and doing this stuff, this is what people do. They're trying hard to do these things. It's disgraceful. Let's have some class. I give credit to J.D. Vance. When Tim Ryan, I may disagree with J.D. Vance, but I like the fact that he said, Tim Ryan called me, conceded. He loves Ohio, too. I think most of us love this country, whether we're Democrats or Republicans. We may think there's different ways to go about it, but in the end, I think most of us are trying to get to the same place with different point of views. When the fact that we've gotten to the point where we can't have a conversation without screaming each other, threatening each other, and doing stuff like that, and not admitting when an election is over is despicable. Can we try to change at least that? Even if we're not going to agree, we're never going to agree on everything. Thank you.
Well said. Absolutely. And Bull, I'm an optimist. I think the division is beginning to close. I hope that's true.
I hope so.
Maybe
a little bit. Maybe signs. Yeah.
I hope we've hit the furthest apart in our division, and that we're now coming together.
G-Bush, before you go, I got 2 super chats I got to read. Jay Bauer says Browns will upset Miami 38-35. Go Browns. And Devonta Travis says, Happy Veterans Day to all my military brothers and sisters out there. And yes, from UCSS family to everyone, thank you guys so much for your service. We salute you, and we appreciate everything you guys have done for us, keeping our country free.
I'm glad you got that in. Thanks to
both
all
great comments
who have served and are serving now. Thank you. And especially to those that gave the ultimate sacrifice, and that's their life so we can be free.
Good super chat.
G. Bush, you up?
Yeah, that's me, man. So, I don't even really got nothing too much, man. I will say, though, Christmas is coming up, right? And I don't know if you've really actually started to get your stuff out of the way. You might want to get that stuff together right now. But the cool thing about Christmas is there's starting to be a blurred line. I'm not quite sure when Christmas starts. Now, after Halloween, I see people's trees up. I said, you just skipped over Thanksgiving?
I know.
You fast forwarded. You make me feel self-conscious about what I'm doing because I feel unprepared. I feel like I'm left behind, and nobody wants to feel like they're unprepared and left behind. So I need y'all to tell somebody something. We got to figure this out. When is it okay to start putting Christmas stuff up? Because when I move into your neighborhood, y'all be having whole little projects where it's like if one person do it, y'all all got to do it. And they be like, I can't, he's messing it up for us. He has his Christmas tree up, we haven't ready to go. Or you go to a neighborhood and they're like, honey, did you know the Smiths over there, they have their stuff out. They already have it out. I know for a fact that we need to get another wreath. Listen, Sue, I'm telling you, all we need, the wreath is fine. We'll get a new one. We'll get a little porch light and it'll be fine. Well, I was thinking more like we get another one. And you're like, bro, would y'all just send out a flyer and let me know if it's going to be in November? Cool, I'll be with y'all. But the Christmas stuff after October is a little rough for me. I don't know, man. They be fast forwarding it. I'm going to try to get my little Amazon stuff out of the way. But by the way, it is kind of, I will say this, it's kind of hurtful. It's kind of hurtful that there are no more malls. There is no Christmas shopping.
There is a mall.
No, it's called Amazon, and it's going right to your house.
No, but there are malls. There still are. There's one in Strongsville.
And we do have
most of them don't even open.
Breaking news, guys.
We do have some breaking news. Bo, you want it?
Yeah, David Njoku and JOK both officially ruled out, unfortunately. Yeah.
That tip was right.
It was trending that way.
Yeah. Hey, well, hopefully they got their Christmas stuff up.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Mine's real quick. I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the voters who approved the Issue 5 tax levy to fund the metro parks and expand the funding for the metro parks.
Voted for that.
Because they do a great job. And I want to give a special shout out to one in particular, and that is something that deserves our praise because it's an example of something that used to be really terrible that slowly got better, and I think we kind of take it for granted because it happened so slowly right before our eyes that we didn't even notice it was happening. Do you remember Edgewater Beach Park from 2010? It was disgusting. It's filthy. Syringes, diapers, all over the place. 40 bottles. It was a nightmare.
40 bottles.
It was like a big urban litter box is what it was. It was gross. I once saw a mattress floating there. No joke. Twin size. There were children playing on the mattress. And the parents who were there, apparently with the children, I assume, didn't seem to mind. They were passed out, 3 wine coolers in on the beach or something like that. And there were 3 kids who were clearly not related taking this mattress just out to sea slowly. It was that kind of a beach back then. I don't know what happened to those kids. I assume they drowned, probably. I don't know, though.
They got
left.
to Canada in 13.
Hopefully they are in Canada.
Yeah.
They have, new caretakers and health care. But I do know this. That beach was disgusting. And now it's a lot cleaner. Here's what happened. The Metro Parks took it over. It used to be the state who was in charge of maintaining Edgewater Beach Park, and they were a bit lacking. Then the Metro Parks took on that burden. And when we gave them that first tax levy 10 years ago, and they made it quite nice. Is it perfectly clean? No, it's not. It actually, at least once a year, you can't swim in it because there's too much sewage. But that happens. What are you going to do? At least there aren't cigarettes on the ground anymore because the Metro Parks came in, took over, and took some really impressive initiatives like picking up trash and policing the area to make sure that at least no one was being human trafficked out of the bathrooms. And those were huge steps forward. The place is beautiful. The park looks great. Thank you so much for continuing in the right direction, state of Ohio, in that case, at least as far as I'm concerned, and supporting these parks because I love our metro parks, and Edgewater Beach is a lot less filthy than it used to be. Thank you.
Perfectly said.
Yeah.
Of the things that I always brag about when I'm not in Cleveland, but I'm talking about Cleveland and my love for the city, Metro Park's always top of the list.
Yep.
we have the best Metro Park golf courses, public golf courses.
We take it for granted, too.
We do take it for granted.
Picture all those people.
Other big cities, I mean, there are big cities that care for their parks, too.
Yeah.
But we are among the best in the country.
Think of all those people in New York, just all around Central Park, like everybody trying to find a little blanket space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just dogs everywhere and stuff like that. I can just go be in the woods alone.
Yep.
Anytime I want, which is a threat. All right,
Please don't do that. All right, I alluded to this earlier in the program, and I haven't really talked about this with anybody. It's very recent development in my family's life, but when I was on the cruise where I was gone last week, Halloween night, the night the Browns were playing the Bengals, I get a text that my nephew, who is 17 years old, 16 or 17, he's a high school junior, was involved in a terrible single car accident. He was a passenger in a car, a truck, and the text said it's very bad. He was life flighted to Toledo. They didn't know the extent of his injuries, but it appeared that there were lower extremity injuries that he may not be able to recover from. They went to surgery a couple of days later. They did take some scans, and they looked at the spinal cord, and their worst fears were confirmed from the scan when it looked like from the lower rib cage down, the spinal cord was severed. Sometimes those scans can be wrong. You have to go in, you have to look with your eyeballs. The surgeons did that, and their fears were confirmed when they went in. His spinal cord was completely severed from the lower rib cage down. Big, strong, athletic, gifted kid. In fact, we have a little bit of video. This was taken last year. I took so much joy. I come from a wrestling family, and we've all done it. We all love the sport. Last year, as a sophomore in a grown man class, he came within one match of qualifying for the state tournament. And if you do that in the state of Ohio, that's saying something, because he's in gray, by the way. Also a very gifted football player. Had so much to look forward to for the rest of his young life. When he got into the truck, they're obviously, as kids can do, you're in a hurry. It was Halloween night. They were going to hang out with friends and to actually go trick-or-treating. And the driver of the truck lost control. He was speeding, going way too fast. And unfortunately, my nephew Kai made the decision to not put a seatbelt on when he got in the truck. And he was ejected from the vehicle. And we've all done it. We've all been in a hurry. We haven't thrown the belt on. I hope now that as he's learning to cope with what will be the rest of his life, that his story can be a cautionary tale to kids that are 16 and 17 and think that they're invincible and think that they can never be injured and think that was me once upon a time.
Me too.
I'm sure all
there
of us.
Before the grace of God.
I'm sure all of us. I was in a car accident where I rolled the car and was not wearing a seatbelt. It was probably the last time I ever moved in a vehicle without being buckled in. Mm-hmm. Somehow I survived the accident. I don't know how. The car rolled 3 times. Something I never talked about with Kai. Talked about it with my children, of course. My children always wore seatbelts and still do. But I know a lot of us get in hurries, and we're not necessarily always in that habit, but that is a decision that Kai will now wish for the rest of his life that he could have back. He would wish more than anything that he could just re-enter that car. The driver of the car was also not buckled. He did not get ejected from the vehicle. He sustained injuries, but nothing that will drastically change the rest of his life. Ugh. Kai is now in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. He is shortly going to Chicago, where he will begin the long, grueling task of physical therapy. So he'll have to go through basically learning how to function with 2 functioning limbs. Thankfully, You're always looking for silver linings in stories like this. And as I was trying to process this while I was on vacation, I just kept coming back to he has his mind, he has his upper body. Yes, his life is going to be different every day moving forward. It's a terrific young man. You can't meet this young man and not fall in love with him instantly. He cares for other people. He's just a good person who made a hasty decision. So if you're out there and you don't have a seatbelt habit, just please try to. The statistics are unbelievable. You survive when the seatbelts are on. The vehicle had airbags. We still can't figure out why they never deployed. It's an older truck. It was a 2004. I don't know what the life expectancy is of those airbags, but I also wanted to send a message out there to anybody if you don't have a seatbelt habit or someone you love doesn't, talk to them about the importance of it. And Kai, who is a very competitive person, both football and wrestling. I just was thinking so much about this year's state wrestling tournament and how far he could go as a junior. And now he's thinking about how can I scratch this competitive itch for the rest of my life. Kai, I'm sure you're going to see this at some point. You'll find it. You'll do it. My son trained with a lot of Paralympians at the Olympic Training Center. He's already been in contact with them. He's a big, strong kid, incredible upper body strength. He can become a thrower. He can do other things, despite the fact that he's going to spend the rest of his life in a chair. You have an incredible support system. Your family loves you. Your friends love you. I know the amount of outpouring and love that you've felt over the last week and change has been overwhelming. At some point, that's going to go away. People are going to resume their normal lives, and you're going to have to resume a new normal life. But we're all behind you and thinking about you. We love you. And if you know somebody that doesn't wear a seatbelt, remind them. You never know when that life-changing accident is going to happen. And I mentioned Myles Garrett earlier. And I don't know that Myles has had this epiphany. I don't. I did when I had my accident. When I rolled and I did not have my seatbelt on, I made the very conscious decision. I'm never, ever, ever. It's just as important as putting the key in the car, is putting that belt on. And I hope that Myles went through that. Anybody that's been in one of those. And for me, it's the sound of the vehicle. I'll never forget the sound of the breaking glass and the crunching metal. And then you really, when I looked at the car the next day after my accident, I don't know how I survived. I don't even know how I got out of the car. The roof was completely smashed. Somehow I squeezed out between my driver's side window and the roof. Broken glass everywhere. I don't even remember getting out. I was unhurt. I didn't have a single injury. I definitely had a guardian angel on my shoulder that day. But I looked at that car and I can still hear that sound. And I probably didn't deserve to survive because I didn't take the second to put my seatbelt on. Yeah. So please do it. And Kai, we love you.
I'm sorry family's going through that, brother. That stinks.
It's tough. It's tough. I come from a really strong family, and we've all rallied together, and he's going to need all of us. He's going to need, you hear about these things happening. Until it happens to you, you just really can't begin to fathom how quickly a life can change, how fast a life can change. Based on one decision. But I got to tell you, this kid is amazing. He's actually my great-nephew. His nephew, his father is my nephew. It's my brother's son.
Right.
And he was a tremendous athlete, wrestler, football player as well. And we've been texting about this. I'm hoping to get to see him soon. But when yesterday he sent me a text and he said, Kai looked at me and said, "We got this, Dad. We've got this. I'm going to be okay." So while we're, all lamenting, the person that's most affected by this, Kai, is saying, let's go. Let's start this rehab and let's begin this new life.
Sounds like a Crawford positivity if I ever heard it.
He is. He's a great kid. He really is. And
prayers with him, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
With the
I
whole
appreciate
family,
it. I hate to be a downer to end the week. I didn't know if I wanted to do that. I've been thinking about it every single day.
No, good for you for doing it, man.
And my hope is that Kai one day becomes strong enough because he's the kid that people gravitate to. He's a popular kid. He's a good-looking kid. Mm-hmm. He's a fun kid. His cautionary tale now might save some folks down the road if he can instill seatbelt habits.
Especially on the internet. We do a lot of stuff. We do.
You're right. Your reach now is worldwide.
Is young people watch and you don't want that to go in vain. Like what you're saying is like anything you do one time, you can just do it one time. And there's great people, good people, solid people who make a mistake and that ends up happening to them. And if you can come on and say it. And it tells some father that go tell his kids, because we got all driving age, right?
Yep. Yes.
Your father gets up, or your uncle or somebody, mom and dad see it, and go talk to one of their younger sons or daughters. If it could just help somebody just say, look, man, it ain't that cool, but put it on, bro.
Put it on.
Because you'll be definitely glad you did.
Yeah, I worked with a guy in Columbus who's still there, Dom Taberi. If our viewers down in the Columbus area will know Dom. Dom is the dean of TV sports. He's at Channel 10 there. Lifelong friend of mine, terrific human being. His daughter, Maria, 10 years ago or so, made the decision that a lot of young people and even adults make today. Is she was texting while she was driving. And it takes 1 second, man.
Yeah,
it takes 1 second. If you haven't been in an accident from texting and driving, you've been close, where you'd be like, whoa, whoa.
Okay,
that's it.
And then it catch you because you like, it's only by the grace of God. It's almost like God tells you, look up.
Yeah, this is a little warning shot for you. And we all think that we're going to be quick enough, but in her case, she was young, she was a new driver, she wasn't quick enough, and she tragically passed away. And it dramatically affected Dom's life, but he's taken her loss and turned it into a positive move for change
Advocacy.
in Columbus. And now I saw recently this week, he tweeted or put out on Facebook, I think they're now actually putting labs in central Ohio where new drivers can simulate driving conditions and to attempt texting. And you can see the consequences and what would have happened in the real world without actually having to go through it. So you can realize, man, that happened quick. I looked here and I looked down, and the next thing I know, I had to slam on my brakes.
Yeah.
Because people decide to stop that quick. And
I'm all for scaring those teens.
I am too, man. I am too. Scare them. All right, we're out of time. Go Browns. Huge. This is a playoff game. I think it's a playoff game. You got to win this thing.
Yep.
Let's get this done. Let's move on to Buffalo. Don't forget about the post-game show. It's actually the 2-minute warning show with 2 minutes left to go.
It's never boring with these guys.
Jeff Lloyd, who was not that fan at the Michigan game when they lost on the block punt to Michigan State, but he's had that pose a lot.
Every week.
He's had
every
that
week, that's his pose.
That's hilarious.
I haven't smiled that much, but yeah.
Enjoy the Buckeye game. Enjoy the Browns game. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Thanks for watching, folks.
Bye now.